Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Summoners War European League 2025 edition. We were here last year, but this time we're seeing who's coming to take that crown of the 2025 European League champion. And obviously, it's myself, Sam, here, back again with the wondrous firework man himself, Mr. Slaix. How are you doing, my friend? And more importantly, how are you doing with all those new LDs, eh?
I'm doing great, and those LDs are doing great as well. But this is all about the players that we're seeing here today, and they got some fireworks units. Definitely going to be see a lot of comps that we don't normally see that much in the meta, so I'm very excited for today.
Definitely. There's a lot of new faces that have managed to make it through to this edition of the Summoners War European League. It's crazy. Some of them you might not have even heard of, because I hadn't. But now watching from the qualifiers that have been happening over the past few weeks, it's crazy to see that there is still some new names within the highest level of RTA competition. It's really nice to see, right, Zay?
Yeah, absolutely. It's also a bunch of names that we have seen in the past, maybe throughout qualifiers or just around the higher level of guild content, but they haven't been familiar yet with SWC or, in this case, the Summoners War European League.
Exactly, and here it is. If you haven't heard about it already, the Summoners War European League is back, and we're here for some time. You can see every single Wednesday at 8 o'clock, you can join myself and Seishizu to walk you through all of these wondrous matches that are going to be taking place over those days. Each of the matches are back to a best of 2, with one win managing to secure that 1 point. They're going to be facing off against everybody in the league. There's a total of 12 players. And on that very last day, it's going to be jam-packed as a blockbuster event with everybody playing to see who can get the highest in our league rankings. If you get higher in that league, it's going to be easier when it comes to those playoff days in terms of just not having to play as many matches. You can kind of rest, sit back, and see what everyone else is doing. And that is going to be on April 12th and the 13th. Not at 8 o'clock that time. We're going to do it nice and early because they're going to be best of 7s throughout that whole weekend. Now, obviously, everybody playing here is trying to grab some of that €10,000 cash prize, all from Europe. So it's familiar faces, people that we've usually seen before, like we were saying, in the SWC, in the European League from last year, but plenty of new faces to really support, and let's see how far they can go in this competition. Now, a lot's changed in the past 4 months since we were back sat here, well, in the SWC seats, say. Tell me about it. We've had collabs, we've had new monsters. What's changed?
Yeah, definitely. We have seen also a bunch of units being buffed. We have the units from the Jujutsu Kaisen collab. Currently, a few of them are actually pretty good and very usable right now. We also have the Demon Slayer collab, which also, most of the time we have seen it a bunch of times, like units are released, but on release, they're not that good. It takes like 1 or 2 balance patch for them actually to catch up. However, right now, we have a few units, such as like the Zenitsus, which are pretty powerful. So those are definitely involved right there. Plus, we had it in SWC as well. It was a very diverse meta. And sure, you could still see like the Oliver, the Valadul, the Chandra, the Cigar. But that's already naming 4 units too. Whereas back in the days, if we talk like 4 or 5 years back, it was just, oh, it's all about the Molong. It's all about the Geni Hathor. It's all about this Carno or Okeanos or even Lulu at some point. But now, to name the whole meta, you have to name 4 or 5, maybe even 6 or 7 units, because the Twin Angels are good, the Vanessa is good. There's just so many good units for early picks. But besides all of that, all of these players here have a very unique style based on their LDs.
Exactly, they do. And in this situation, they're going to be doing just a best of 2. So in terms of, are you going to be bringing that meta into fruition in these matches? Do you even have time, or has somebody cooked up something crazy just to get those points on the board? Every point really does matter. We saw it at the end of last season's league days, where obviously Pink, Roid and Obaba managed to get in those top 2 spots and only had to play, in theory, 2 matches to actually win the whole thing. You can see there as well, every Wednesday we're going to be here at 8 o'clock, €5,000 up for grabs for the winner of this competition. And I mean, even coming in that top 4 is going to be very, very credible. And if you think about it, say, SWC is probably not far around the corner after that as well. You're going to be in a good place to see where you stand in Europe, right? It's very strong at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Europe, as I think the last 4 or 5 years, always has been very stacked. Like, to even qualify for SWC, you have to be like top 30, maybe top 35 if you can get like the 8th spot of that season. But then again, for the Summoners War European League this year around, it was all the way down to G2. With G2, you could participate already. And you might say like, oh, as a G2 player, you have no chance against the G3 player. Well, let me tell you that some of the people with lower G3 finishes did actually make it in. Even a G2 player made it in, and that's very impressive. So I'm definitely curious to see how those players will do here on the stage.
Exactly. It's all about that preparation. You've seen the players that you're going to be coming up against in the league. It's all there on the website. If you haven't already checked it out, make sure you're doing Command Swell in the chat. It'll bring you up to the website. It'll be updated. But for our schedule of today, you can see the 6 players taking part, going in 3 separate matches. We've got Best Spoon, Slaix, Scribble, Unarmed, Josu, and Roid. A good balance, I would say. Wow, that's a mouthful, I'll tell you that one. Of kind of new players and old players.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I would say the thing is, from all players from last year's iteration, only Roid is here. Out of all 12 players, the only player that was in the league last year was Roid. So he's the only one. He also was the one to win it. But there's no Obabo, there's no Roid, there is Roid. There's no Obabo, there's no Glorious, there's no Pavix. Like, those are the names we saw last year around. This time, they didn't make it, but we have a lot of new names with Best Spoon in there, with Josu in there, also a streamer. Scribble didn't make it last year, did make it this year, and there's always a lot of Scribble fans in the chat when you're on Twitch, so definitely see how those go during his matches.
Exactly. Even all those players that you named that aren't actually with us are probably in the chat as well. Make sure you're saying hello. I'm sure you're supporting some of the different streamers as well. Maybe you're supporting an underdog. Who knows? Like, honestly, it could be crazy. Look at those qualifiers. We've got a G2 finisher that's within the competition right now and could technically become the European League champion of 2025. These matches are so exciting. So, which match are you really looking forward to today?
Well, today I did see like the double Dutch match, and that is Scribble, Roid. We have seen Scribble the last few days on his streams not really finding his comp around the meta, kind of fitting in like, okay, what works, what doesn't work. And I think we all had that at some point playing RTA. At some point you're like, oh, this draft really works. And then you start winning with it until you don't. And then you're like, is it me? Is it the draft? Is it the switch in the meta? Is it other units being good? Is it me drafting wrong? Is it just RNG? It could be anything. And then you start switching things and then it goes worse. And then you start switching things more and it goes even worse than that. And at some point, you got to recover on that. So I really hope for Scribble that this is his moment to recover. But he has some really difficult opponents. For example, Roid. He's the man that can find the final unit all the way at the end of his box and randomly draft a Miho and a Kinky, and suddenly it's still good. So those are difficult opponents right there.
It's not even that, say. You can first pick an Antares and still be top 6 on the leaderboard at the moment. It does not matter for that man. But those underdogs, the new people, the new faces, they're going to be excited to put their skills to the test and see exactly how they face up against some of these absolute beasts of players. We've got our match number 1, set number 1 in front of us there. Best Spoon and Slaix. We're going to take a look at some of the stats around both of these players. But say, I know... What is with these spoons? I love these photos.
Yeah, actually, I have seen some of more assets from him, and it's all about the spoon. So it fits the name, it fits the character, it fits everything. There we have some more spoon shenanigans over there. But looking at what he wrote down, which are the units that he likes to play around most? Pontus, Bella, Audrey, Raccoony. That's an odd one down in that list. And a Burkhild. But then again, still what he has to say, which unit changed most of his playstyle was that Laura. Laura is currently one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant unit just in the game, like anywhere, a lot of content. She's just incredibly good if you have those high-end runes, high-end artifacts. But besides that, he has a lot of LDs to work with as well. But Sam, what can you tell me about Slaix?
Yeah, Slaix is actually one of your guildies as well, Sam. We asked him earlier like how he's feeling about this, and he's really excited. It's his first time in real competitive RTA. What I noticed really about the monsters that he's actually using, there's a lot of attack bar manipulation there. We've got the Kavachi, we have the Eleanor, we have the Berghill. He's really trying to make use of taking as many turns as possible. In a best of 2, is that the best way to go about it? Has Best Spoon managed to do his homework against that? Is there something of a pocket picks, you thinking out loud, like a Tian Lang? Something along these lines to kind of mess that up? Let's find out. Who are you looking for?
Well, I think Best Spoon currently is ranked 6 or 7 on the leaderboard, so that's definitely one to be careful of what he can draft. But then again, he's also mostly drafting the same things. Plus, there's a pre-ban right now, which might switch things up quite a bit.
Exactly, and you've all been waiting for this, folks, I know. Yes, I have prepared some puns for these matches. Obviously, I have. No more knifing or forking around. Which one will be slayed on a silver spoon between Best Spoon and Slaix in our match number 1, set 1 of the Summoners War European League? So Pre-bans will be coming in right now. We've got the Kavachi, we've got the Laura. There's some strong units to take out already.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think those are also, well, it's also, you can just read the player profile, be like, oh, that was your most core unit. Let me ban out that one for the first round, which happened in this case for both players. Let's see Slaix. What kind of style does he like to go for? I know he likes to play around a Sierra, Sekhmet, maybe even a Jongnam kind of playstyle. Do you right away go for that? Maybe taking out the Oliver for the speed lead. Other side, very fast lock-in with that light Gojo and that Sekhmet.
Yeah, you can see already, if you want to bring out a speed lead, I'm going to bring some faster units to try and counter that right now. Slaix, on the other hand, he was always about that attack bar manipulation, now maybe pivoting a little bit.
Yeah, pivoting towards the Jongnam, those are definitely combinations that you see a lot on the leaderboards right now. Oliver Jongnam, on the other side, Sekhmet is actually currently the second most picked unit in G3 RTA. But we're pairing that up with the Zeratul, also a very strong unit at the moment.
Yeah, doing so much damage when he manages to get off right now. But is Best Spoon going to allow that? He's looking to bring in another speed lead. And as Sonya tells me, we're having a bit of a race.
Yeah, we're definitely having a bit of a race right there. However, on the other side, there's already a 33 lead. However, now you have the big issue. There's two fast units on the left side. There's two speed leads on the left side. If you go for a speed lead plus a fast unit right now, your speed lead is, or your fast unit is going to get banned out. If you go for a double fast unit right now, your speed lead is going to be gone. So probably you have to look more towards a turn 2, which he's trying to do with that Veramos right now.
Yeah, pivoting into that, obviously, with a Nephthys on the field, seeing all of those debuffs, Veramos can come into clutch in some situations to make sure there's healing. And that's another unit that does practically the same thing, but a little bit more selfishly.
Yeah, Juno, Veramos, two very good units. But then we also have the other Gojo. In this case, it is Sigmund. I probably butchered the pronunciation for my German names. Does actually take it away. But it is a good unit into that. Ooh, an Ongyuki. Haven't seen that too much as of late, but still a very strong unit right there.
Exactly. If it gets that second skill off, if there's any defense breaks that have been landed from any of those Desert Queens, it's going to be likely to take out a unit. Who do you like for the bans?
I think you still have to respect that Sonya, and on the other side, I think you want to take away that speed lead. So the Sonya and the Oliver is what I am aiming for.
Let's find out. This is the first match. Are the mind games going on right from this very first set? We've got the Ongyuki band and we've got the Veramos, so we're going to be seeing some speed leads coming out, I would imagine, from both of these players right now. See there, say, Slaix, 679 highest ranking. Let's see how he gets on against Best Spoon with that number 7 in our match 1 between Best Spoon and Slaix.
There is so much on this Sonya right now. Can you instantly take out 40k damage, even though that the enemy side had a speed lead of a 33? That Zeratul was just too slow and instantly taken out. So let's see right here. Oh, we actually have, after this, we have the Oliver move. Can't strip, does the land a despair stun? You have to reset that Nephthys right now, and then if you go into stunning with the Jongnam, you might still have a good spot.
Exactly. It's the moment now where he's got to be pivoting into that. You're getting the cool times out. Oh, it was reset, so there's obviously no way that it can do that save. We maybe get some freezes?
Yeah, you have to go for the freezes right now, because there's still the third skill from that light Gojo. The moment that the light Gojo hit and cleanses a few things, he starts to deal more damage, but actually goes against it, just goes for skill 1 stun. Most of the time, these units are on despair. Their skill 1 is only a 50 rate, but they tend to land a lot.
Exactly, getting that sound. The additional turn is huge there from Oliver. He can look to reset the attack bar.
Yeah, resetting the attack bar of the Sonya seems nice, but you could glance it due to the Sonya passive. In this case, does actually manage to land it. We're still 2 turns away from that skill 3 that the Jongnam so much needs.
Exactly, and it was probably worth the risk right now because Oliver can start to cycle, start to do more chip damage. It's coming through slowly from Slaix on the side of Best Spoon.
Yeah, but there's still a skill 3 up right now. It's not going to do as much damage. He does know that it's not going to do as much damage in this case, so decides to go for skill 1. Just tries to get stunned, but Sonya on a armor break could do a lot of damage. Double 8Ks.
Definitely right now. Oliver is still cycling. We haven't quite got the heal yet from that Jongnam at the moment, so if there's an additional turn, it could change things.
That could change a lot if this one that goes for the additional turn does not get the additional turn. So Oliver is probably going to say goodbye after this final hit. What he will do, where he's going to land it, is going to land on the segment. And you're going to take out that Gojo. Did take out the Gojo, but Sonya is back on skills in 1 turn.
Definitely is right now, but you've obviously still got that Juno that's going to be very annoying the longer it stays on the field. And if you're not targeting that Nephthys, it's completely fine.
Yeah, definitely. But the big issue right now is you kind of have to start targeting that Sonya, because the Sonya will probably one-shot that Jongnam as well. Can you get it stunned? No, can't get it stunned, but the other 2 are stunned. The Juno definitely has to start working on that Sonya right now, because that Sonya is actually taking out the Juno. He did know that the Juno was the one way that Slaix could still win this, so he took the gamble. Can you crit it? If you do manage to crit it, it's gonna take it out. However, Jongnam, skill 2, ignore defense, a lot of damage coming in. Can the Jongnam actually win? Oh, the reset, the charming voice, it's too much.
It is. Can you get even a freeze right now onto that Nephthys? No, but the skills are still reset. There's nothing she can do for the moment.
Yeah, there's nothing she can do. You need an additional turn. If you go for an additional turn, does not get the additional turns, you will be probably silenced. Does not manage to get the silence. Silence of Nephthys doesn't have a full % activation rate. How much damage it's gonna do? It was about 7k last time. Actually gets the additional turn on the branding. It's a lot of HP scaling, so you might actually take out that Nephthys. Does not take out the Nephthys, but he does stun everyone. This is why Jongnam is insane. Jongnam is one of the highest win rate units right now in G3 RTA for the normal elementals. And this absolutely shows why. Slaix, very well played.
Wow, he managed to get that 1-0 over Best Spoon right there. So crazy to see. Just, it was pivotal there that Jongnam could actually, there was a lot of risky plays actually, I would say, between both of the players right there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think all of the plays in the end did work out. Like, sure, you could have said, like, oh, what if you just killed the Jongnam and then you could have, like, fought against the Juno. I think fighting the Juno would have been more difficult than the Jongnam. The Jongnam, in the end, did need a few additional turns to actually make it work. Whereas the Juno would have been like, okay, give me all of those debuffs, I'll heal anyways.
Yeah, we've got the pre-bans in for this second set right now. We've got the Zeratul. We've got that light Gojo as well. Kind of, I would say, respectfully bans on both of the sides right now. How is Best Spoon going to look to respond? Stealing that Oliver from the side of Slaix.
Yep, definitely makes sense to steal that Oliver. Oliver did do a lot of work from Slayer last time around. But he can go towards his comfortable picks right now. Sierra, Kovaci, or just stealing that segment right there.
Exactly, but we know that that was now back on the field for Best Spoon. Laura, we know how strong she is, and that's a respect steal right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the strongest combinations for Jongnam is exactly that, Laura. AoE strips, giving even more speeds, having the defense buff. There's just so much going on in the team that you see on the left side right now. On the right side, going more for pivotal units. I'm liking it. A Misty and a recently buffed Mi Ying.
Yeah, that's crazy to see Mi Ying back. Usually it's his brother that we're talking about, but right now he is on the field, and Best Spoon resorting back to some of those snipe tactics with the speed lead of Nephthys and that huge damage that came out from Sonya. Wasn't quite enough last time, but maybe this time.
Yeah, definitely a unit you have to respect, but on the other end, the Laura is currently the only strip that is an AoE strip on the side of Best Spoon. So going back to a Burkeld, so we see a lot of LDs between the two players, but let's see if some of those are maybe respect banned.
Exactly. Are you going to respect that damage that came out from the Sonya? Laura is still Laura, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Laura is always Laura. It feels like it is built-in mechanic where if you do skill 3, you always get that skill 2 anyways. But in this case, we might see if Laura has the chance to do it in this match.
Exactly. Sonya being banned out as well as the Berghild. Speed lead from the side of Best Spoon with that HP lead on the side of Slay. It's our second set between Best Spoon and Slay. Slay gets an extra point. He's 2 points up in that leaderboard already. Laura's going to be taking that first turn.
But Laura taking that first turn, does that mean that Segment would take that second turn? If the Segment is in Nemesis, it is not Nemesis, however, and does not manage to take that second turn because of that speed buff.
Oh, and managing to not stun out there on that Mi Ying, not allowing it to pop up with some of the revenge.
Yeah, no revenge over there. Also, the Oliver is moving in front of the Nefty, so if you were to do any more damage, it wouldn't be. But he actually managed to reset and stun it in one hit, also taking this turn on the Nefties.
Exactly, not looking healthy right now for Slay. He managed to turn it around in that last set, say, but with all the defense breaks, all the debuffs coming out from that Nephthys, surely only time, right?
Yeah, this time around it's very difficult. There's armor break across the board. That stun on the Mi Ying came at the perfect moment. There is a reset potential right there, but then again, Laura coming in with more stuns where she didn't take the additional turn in the last round. She did do it in this round, so still, her skills are coming back faster and faster. And on a full defense broken team, she just does way too much damage.
Definitely does, and there we go. He's conceded it there. Best Spoon has managed to bring one set back for him, resulting in that match being a draw. Say, what a kind of crazy two separate looking sets that we went through for our first ever match of the Summoners War European League 2025. Wow, crazy to see how things can change very dramatically, even in a set of two.
Yeah, absolutely, and it definitely in that second set it did show why Laura was banned in that first one. In other worlds where you just had like a normal strip that didn't give like a speed buff or anything like that, you would have had to land a pushback. But in this case, you only needed to get the speed buff. And because of the speed buff, the Jongnam actually took the turn as well and outsped that segment. If the segment would have had the move in, match would have been slightly different, or maybe even very different, because either the Jungnam couldn't do the skills, either the Nefties couldn't do the skills, anything you decide on there. But in this case, Laura just showed too much power, and then combined with the Nefties, Jungnam, Oliver, dream team right there.
Exactly, and they've both split the points then. It's going to be one apiece taking it through on the leaderboard right now. In all honesty, I think you just don't want to be on a donut by the end of today. You want to at least have that 1 point on the board with some sort of confidence right there. I think Slaix can take a lot of confidence seeing that it was against Beth Spoon, a very, very strong competitor. Came in somewhat prepared, got the things that worked for him in the end, but it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to prepare for those next matches, because best of twos, anything can happen. If you're prepared, you might be able to take some of the points, and there is the confirmation on the screen for you. Beth Spoon with 1 point, Slaix with 1 point as well. That would technically put them both on joint first at the moment, right? I mean, that's a good place to be sitting.
Yeah, that's absolutely a good place to be sitting. That's you couldn't end worse than this right now, technically.
Well, let's find out in those next matches, right? Because coming up very soon, we're going to be having Scribble versus Unarmed. Two names that we know a lot from RTA competitions. Unarmed, probably not for the past couple of years, like 2020, around that time when we saw his name popping off a little bit more during SWCs. But Scribble, like you were saying, one of the fan favourites, was at that SWC last year. Didn't quite manage to make all of his pure talent and skill and all of the runes and everything that he had work to full effect. But this is a different format for him to test out on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And if I'm not mistaken, he played against StarTech last year in SWC and lost against StarTech in his first round. However, to qualify right here, he had to play StarTech again, and he actually beat StarTech in the best of 5 qualification match to make it all the way here. So he already beat some of his demons right there.
Definitely did beat his demons. And I mean, these players as well, playing with super strong units. The box, I would say, Scribble has grown tremendously as well. We've got some more LDs to play around with. It's going to be interesting to see which kind of pivot of style they're going to be playing against. I'm pretty sure I remember Unarmed is a little bit of a cleavy as well. So let's see how the speed is going to be contested between both of these players. It's going to be really exciting to watch. Let us know in the chat if you're fans of Scribble, if you're fans of Unarmed. I guess the Unarmed fans might be in the French chat, in all honesty, say, but let's see exactly what's going to happen here for these guys. I'm so excited to get this one. We're going to be finding out very soon a little bit more about these players, about what they've questioned. You're going to have a look at some of the photos of them. You can have a look what they look like. I can already tell you right now, Scribble doesn't own an iron for some reason. We can have a look at his t-shirt in a second. But where is this guy's iron?
I'm gonna straighten up my t-shirt just for the moment, yeah, actually, just to be sure.
To be fair, I am saying that, and I'm not sure if I'm also looking to iron. I tried to steam it earlier, but
yeah, that's the thing. Like, just blame someone else. That's the typical RTA thing, or any team-based game thing. It's like, it's always the other guy, right? It's never you. It's never you could have been drafting better. No. It was the RNG. It was the moment.
Exactly. Let's find out as well how the nerves are going for these guys, because what do you think they're probably thinking right now? It's the very first match of this European League. Like we were saying, you don't want to come away from this first match day with a donut. You want to have at least 1 point out on the board. I mean, you've never actually taken part in a best of 2, say, but what can you imagine they're going through?
I think for a best of 2, it's very special and different than a best of 3, because best of 3, you could always run back the draft that you had on the very first round, because it could be a full-on repeat. It could be the same pre-bans, the same bans, the same picks, everything. But when you have a best of 2, it's something that we have seen last year. I think Seb did it very well. One draft was very turn 1 focused, and then the other draft was complete, like Hey Gang, Tomoe, Layla, completely different. And both of these actually threw someone off, and then he just suddenly took 2 points. Whereas if you would have played all the way a best of 5 or something like that, there might have been a reverse sweep. But let's look at the players over here that we have. Left side, Scribble, right side, Unarmed.
Yeah, look at these guys. Two phenoms of the world of Summoners War, and especially here in this European League. Like you said, that best of 2, it is a different mindset. It's a different mind game when you're going into it. How are you going to prepare? Scribble, there you go. Turn 1, let's be in control. The man who plays so many RTA matches, I'm not sure how he does it.
Yeah, I'm also not sure how he does it. Well, you can actually be sure how he does it. He streams every night at like midnight European time, and then he shows how he plays all of his wings. Sometimes with a lot of joy, sometimes with a little bit less joy. But he still is mostly there, or almost always there, to play his matches. 2,000 matches a season is a lot. Most seasons have about like 2,200 to 2,400 matches, so he barely misses a day.
Definitely doesn't. His opponent for today is Unarmed. Like we said, last time we really saw him in competitive RTA was around 2000 in the SWCs. But you can see right here, he is here to cleave. He wants the adrenaline and he wants the dopamine. Do you think he's going to back it up, say?
It's very curious to see because on one side it's like, okay, I want to cleave, but then there's also that cigar in there. That's more control. That's not necessarily cleave. However, the Nash and Nefties, Vanessa, Asher, those kind of styles are very cleave based. But then again, you do know that you're playing against Scribble Bibble, who also likes to speed contest. Both players are looking for turn 1 control. But also both of the players, I think both of them do have a Burgild, if I'm not mistaken. It's also one of those units that recently took a little bit of a hit on the balance patch where she was a little bit inconsistent before. She's quite a bit inconsistent right now. Let's see if one of the two players actually does pick her up or both of the players be like, nah, ain't gonna happen today.
Exactly. Let's find out. We're going to be going into that match right now. Pun number 2, baby. Let's get onto it. The man is practically unarmed with sticks like that. Will they snap under the pressure this evening? Let's find out in our match number 2, set 1 between Scribble Bibble and Unarmed. Here we go into those pre-bans. You can see as well, Unarmed's got that first pick, so decided to ban out a Yonghong, and we've got Velajul being pre-banned.
Interesting Velajul pre-ban. I don't think it's necessarily something that Unarmed uses all the time, rather than Scribble Bibble saying like, I don't like this unit. The moment it either resists or it takes a turn on an additional turn after you stunned it, it's just always bad news for turn 1 player. First pick on Unarmed, we got the Chandra.
Yeah, Chandra, we know the speed lead. There's some attack bar manipulation that can come through as well. Even a Cigar who got that recent nerf say coming in along with Sekhmet, looking for some cool times to insert.
That's a lot of resets right there on the left side on Scribble Bibble already. On the other side, we go more for a Bruiser comp. We got a Bella in there, push back. We got a Further Hill, attack bar increase. So there's a lot of control, mainly of the attack bars rather than a cleave right there.
Exactly. More turns that you can take, the more damage that you're going to be able to put through into your opponent. Jongnam entering the field there. Maybe it's not really good for speed, I would say, too much on the side of Scribble Bibble right now, eh? Well, Twin Angels helps a little bit.
Yeah, definitely you have to. If you don't have any speed leads locked in and you already have 4 units on the field, you're definitely gonna go for turn 2. And those units that are mostly turn 2 are more passive units. None of the units on the side of Scribble Bibble are passive units, so I definitely recommend to go for a speed lead, as Scribble did very well in that slot 4. But Unarmed, are you going to high speed contest right now? Or are you gonna go for those passive units? He could be looking at maybe something like a Xingzi. The Wind Monkey is very strong at the moment.
Definitely is. He's looking to opt out there for the Etna then, and that second speed lead coming in with the Neftis right now. In order for Scribble Bibble now, does he need that speed lead, or is he going to be practically too slow anyway?
Well, it kind of depends what you want to go for, but he wants to go for a Valantis. It's definitely an interesting unit. It does also provide the glancing, which is good into a Vert and good into a Neftis. But is it going to be on the field? However, we also have 2 very fast units, the Sekhmet and the Etna. Maybe one of those might leave as well.
Yeah, let's find out. This is set number 1 of our match number 2. You haven't missed too much, folks. And because of this, we're going to find out if Scribble Bibble can take that point or Unarmed in this first set and give themselves a good little jump start into this Summoners War European League right here. Bans are going to be coming in very, very soon. Those Twin Angels are being taken out, so no speed lead on the side of Scribble, but that Etna coming out on the side of Unarmed. Speed lead and the HP lead as our guys face off against each other in the Summoners War European League. Match 2, set 1 between Scribble Bibble and Unarmed. Let's find out how it goes.
It's definitely interesting to see that Unarmed doesn't have that many forms of strips. So there's a few strips single target. There are a few units that probably move faster on the side of Scribble. But then Scribble Bibble, what are you going to do for the skill 3? Does not manage to land neither the pushback nor the reset.
Doesn't get the reset right now, but there's still immunity on his side right now. So if there's a push-up coming through, she won't be able to do that much. That's why maybe we decided not to.
Yeah, now the question is, does actually manage to go for the reset, does get the additional turn, so you can push back a little bit more attack bars as well. Does decide to go for it, Nefty skill 2, and also that Bella already a lot of damage kicking in from that add damage artifacts.
Exactly, and we're just going to be trying to turn cycle through, get more turns going. Can Volantis do it for Scribble Bibble and change it a little?
Not too much going on. We don't have any provoke, but we did get 1 stun and we have glancing across the board. That will help a little bit against the Vert, but the Bella doesn't really care about it. She's not really scaling off attack that much anyways. It's all about that add damage.
Definitely is, and with Chandra now being able to push up the attack bars, Bella's going to be taking a turn very, very soon. Or is he opting for that skill 1 damage? He just wants to get rid of that Cigar.
Yeah, just wants to get rid of that Cigar. It's definitely a good option. Oh, it's actually spreading the damage a little bit. It's not taking out any of the units, which might be dangerous, because if things start to take additional turns on the side of Scribble, it might be bad.
Definitely can. He's got that second skill. Can he get the defense breaks? Does, but does get some revenges.
Does get some revenges. You are looking for a lot of stuns over here and did not manage to get a single stun on that Volantis in that second round.
No, and it's not looking healthy. There's going to be Bella able to take out Cigar or the Jongnam right now.
Yeah, we're going to do probably a focus shot with the 5 shots, and that's definitely going to be taking something out. Oh. Not just simple skill 1, and it actually went for the bounce exactly on the other unit that's a low HP as well.
That was a perfect bounce right now. Glancing hits did come through, but Chandra's still going to be able to take a turn. It's not looking healthy for Scribble Bibble.
No, definitely not. And that's the thing where a Vertihill looks very interesting, but even if it doesn't revenge as it did in this whole match, it still gave a lot of attack bar manipulation on your side of the team. And it still helped out quite a bunch for the other units to simply take turns.
It did, and not even getting anything there from that Volantis right now. I think Scribble Bibble might be trying to already think of what he can do for that next set.
Yeah, definitely has to be thinking like, okay, was this just the segment that missed and therefore the whole match didn't work out? Or was it, okay, the segment did miss, but there were also 2 units outspeeding you on the other side too. So you were still like probably down a unit or 2 before you could actually take proper turns. So let's see if he turns that around. But in this case, first set win goes to Unarmed.
Unarmed taking that 1-0 against Scribble Bibble in their first matches of our Summoners War European League right there. You were saying before, Say, that Sekhmet was actually on a super high win rate, right, in G3?
She's not on a super high win rate, she's on a super high pick rate. The most picked unit right now in G3 is Oliver, the second most picked unit is Sekhmet. And the reason for Sekhmet being that high picked is because she fits everything. She fits with a Chandra comp, she fits with a Oliver comp, and she does also kind of fit with a Twin Angels comp. So all of those comp kind of have Sekhmet in there. And for that reason, she just boosts in the pick rate a lot. Our win rate, however, is around like 49.5. So it still kind of depends. Can you land that first hit? It has recently been buffed to, if you at least strip, you can at least push back or land the reset. But in Scribble's case, did land the strip, missed the other 2.
Yeah, and we've seen there in these pre-bans of our second set, both of the speed leads are being taken out from that last round, the Water Twin Angels, as well as that Nephthys. Scribble Bibble taking the 33% with Vanessa. Wow, quick response as well.
Yeah, definitely quick response. And Chandra Cigar, you still do see it, but it's a little bit less because Cigar, recent balance patch, I turn longer on that skill 3. And without the Twin Angels, it takes pretty long for Cigar to get that third skill back. However, Scribble Bibble picking up that Acroma and the segment once more.
Well, he's gone in for that segment again. It didn't do too well in that last round, but let's see Unarmed coming in with some strong LD damage right there in the form of Nasha and that Bella.
Yeah, there's a lot of single target damage going in there, and Scribble does have somewhat of a control comp, but it's more of a single target control comp at the moment. He has to start spreading that out to multiple units. He definitely does like to use his Robos, which could be an option right here. Sierra plus a Robo maybe. Goes for that Berghild. Interesting.
Yeah, wanting to try and take as many turns as possible. They're confirming another speed lead right now. Berghild, like we said, was in that balance patch, maybe not to the best of her ability, but let's see how it can respond for Scribble Bibble against Unarmed right now. What are you thinking if you're Unarmed right now, Say? Do you just carry on with that damage?
I think the single target damage comp could do a lot of work here, because you can simply bruiser it out to where your enemy doesn't have any sustain. If you go for slight sustain on your side, plus the high damage units that you have, Scribble has to take out a lot of units. In this case, did go for semi-sustain with the Velajul, but Velajul has pretty long cooldowns, which are most likely reset, unless you ban out that segment.
Let's find out. The bans are going to be coming in. Where are the mind games going? Scribble Bibble wants to try and get that point to have something on that leaderboard in our Summoners War European League. Can Unarmed look to extend it and then be finally on the very top of our league, taking out the Chandra and the Ciara? Meaning Scribble Bibble will have that 33% speed lead. The defense lead coming in on the side of Unarmed with Cigar. It's our match number 2, set number 2 between Scribble Bibble and Unarmed. Let's see who can get that point.
Berghild, how much can you do? Can you land that skill 2? Can you land the strip? Can you push back? Can you get a stun? There's so many can use, but it's all on this unit right now. Does land it on the Bella, does actually land all 3 of them. The strip, the stun, and the pushback. In this case, we did have a small misser on that pushback on the Velajul, but we at least land the most important thing, which is that reset. Big damage coming in from that Acroma based on that Vanessa with the armor break.
Exactly. Everything did land that first time round, this time for Scribble Bibble. Can Cigar look to change things? Resisted against that segment, so defense breaks could come out.
Yeah, defense break. AoE defense break is very deadly, and that's one of those reasons that people like to use that segment. In the end, if segment tends to land everything, it's looking like a Nefties, and that looks very much like a Nefties right there with that skill too.
Exactly, and those defense breaks are going to allow a Chroma to just deal so much damage right now. We see the build. That could help, though.
That could absolutely help, but did not manage to kill on that second hit. Also, there's still a second life coming from that Vanessa.
There is, so it's going to be still on there. IE just looking to do more stuns coming out right now. Doesn't get it onto that Bella.
Doesn't get it, but there's still that heal block, and this is probably the area where the Akroma could go for a bounce. You also have another chance for resetting. Once again, lands the reset. Once again, does not land the pushback. So on the buff part for the segment, 3 out of 3, no pushbacks, but we're landing everything that's important so far. And Scribble is looking at a very favorable match right here.
Definitely is. Berghild hanging on for her dear life to not use that third skill from Vanessa and fall down, but Akroma, the damages coming out from her recently, say, are just incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. In the end, she's always been an HP or an enemy HP scaler. So you don't have to go too much on your attack stats on it. You just want to go for high crit rate, high crit damage, and then just make her tanky so she survives. Plus she has that glancing and the science, which is very good, which once again showed that she's a great unit. Scribble on a 1-to-1 in this matchup.
Wow, we managed to bring it back there right now. I'm sure the crowd are pretty happy, at least in our chat, say. Maybe not in the French chat right now, but Scribble managing to bring it back. You can see there, I mean, it's one of those things in Summoner's War. It worked. That time, it worked. Set 1 maybe is one for the... You don't want to look too far backwards in, history to see exactly how that happened. But that second set, you can see how prepared he was. Once those things did land as he is intended in his mind, how much damage you can come out with a Berghild still, and with that Akroma.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of damage from these units, and that's also the main thing. Like, if you really build them, it's like, okay, they got the land, otherwise I'm going to lose. But this second draft was more like, okay, in the end, it did all land, but he also had a lot of things from coming back of saying, okay, even if you try to stun something, not possible. It's the Akroma in there. Try to provoke or reset something. Akroma can still do her thing. The main thing was just, okay, on that Velagil, can we make sure that that Velagil doesn't get the immunity up? Because that's one of the big counters into an Akroma. And in this case, Segma did do her job, and then she does it very well.
Exactly, that 49.5, maybe gone up to 49.6 now, say. As you can see, it's confirmed. Scribble 1 point, Unarmed 1 point. We've had a bunch of draws to start off this Summoners War European League. So, I mean, it was quite familiar from last year as well. We did have a lot of split points where people have obviously been able to adapt in their second sets. And I kind of don't want that, though. For the rest of the matches, no more draws, please, right?
Well, now in this case, we have 4 people being first place, so that's... We could go all the way to 6, technically.
I don't want to sit on the fence anymore, because next up we do have Josu against Roid. A stellar matchup, both of them streamers. We've seen what they've been able to do before in the past, especially with Roid. Josu not so much, but did actually manage to meet him at the SWC last year. Very cool guy. I know he's into his cats. Let's see if he's got any of that cat look on his side tonight against Roid. One of the most fearsome opponents, not just in Europe, I would say, but really in like the whole of Summoners War, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's definitely going to be a very interesting matchup because both players do actually like to play their own playstyle based on the LDs that they have. Well, in the case of Roid, Antares is an LD5. I don't know how he makes it work, but he's the only player in current meta to make it work. Like, let's say 3-4 years back, we saw a lot of Antares play, but nowadays there's a lot of good units into Antares. Let's say a Chandra, let's say a Velagil even. The Jongnam is doing great work into Antares, but for some reason, Roid still makes it work. But then on the other hand, we have Josu. And Josu got a Silver. Silver is the light hacker. It's a very interesting unit, and he definitely took one out of the book from Lest. Lest is the, well, I don't think I have to explain who Lest is. Amazing guy, and he was definitely one of those players to pick up Silver very early and showcase that it was a very strong unit. Josu has his own twist to it with a few other LDs. For example, Kovaci, Ongyuki, and a bunch of other stuff. So definitely curious to see how he will play on this.
Exactly, and he's up against the man who takes his photos on a potato, apparently, because it doesn't look super HD on that one. But Roid, I actually don't even think we need to speak that much about this. Like, if you don't know Roid, or you've never seen him, you've never heard of him, I don't think you're actually a Summoners War fan at all, because this guy has been about for so long. He's managed to be a 3-time champion of our SWC before, the previous winner of our Summoners War European League. I mean, his trophy cabinet must be as big as Holland.
Yeah, that's he's definitely for Europe. He's having the biggest one, absolutely.
definitely is. But it's his time to prove it again. He managed to get back here. How will he do it? Who are you favouring on this one?
I would give slight favor to Roid, but then again, Josu is having a very interesting comp, and the big question is, did Roid prepare against that or not?
Yep, let's find out. And obviously, folks, we've got pun number 3 coming right up right now for both of these guys. Here we go. The champion of the cats takes on the prodigy of the... Okay, I won't finish that line. Let's go into our Summoners War European League Match 3, Set 1 between Josu and Roid. Those pre-bans coming in, Julian and a Kavachi right there, say.
Yeah, definitely 2 respect bans of also the most core unit they have been using on the leaderboard so far. Josu has that first pick, so it's curious to see if he loses that Kavachi, does he still go for the comp that he likes to play? Silver, instantly being locked in.
Exactly, you've got that 33% speed lead coming through. We know how much it can do in terms of the immunity on his own side and that suppression to prevent the other player from taking too many turns with those other skills. Sekhmet and Jongnam being replied with.
Yep, Josu, like I said, he has some specific LDs and he likes to use all of them. Ongyuki is definitely one of those units a lot of players said like, doesn't do enough damage anymore, I'm not going to use it. But let's see if Josu can actually make it work. On the other end, we have a lot more normal elemental units with an Oliver, with the Zima. Also, Josu once again picking very fast with a Seimei and a Lucia.
Yeah, and coming straight in there, Roid on the side with that Fire Cassandra Federic coming in. So much damage from that skill too, but I think Josu's actually set up pretty well right now. Say, got the damage, also got the support on the side. Is this the right answer from Roid?
It's kind of hard to say, because I think a lot of the debuffs are kind of dealt with because of that Seimei, so maybe you have to respect it for that. But then again, the Zima, if the Zima's banned out, you only have a few single target strips. Sure, the Cassandra is still dangerous, which is actually taken out. And we have all of the LDs on the side of Josu still on the field.
Yeah, he's doing a bright color there. We've got 33% speed leads from both of our guys right now. It is the Summoners War European League Match 3, Set 1 between Josu and Roid. Sekhmet, is she going to be Sekhmet?
Does she land it? She does actually manage to land both. Then we're looking at Zima to do the next thing. How much can you land itself? Does not manage to land on the Ongyuki though.
No, it doesn't right now. And it's resisted there as well.
Double resistance there. We have Oliver to say something about the attack bars in this case of that Panda. Also does not land. So there's definitely not too many things landing.
No, not right now. And there the Ongyuki can come in. Are you just going to try and get a defense break somewhere? Goes in on that Oliver right now.
Did get that defense break on that very first hit. That's already good damage, plus that additional turn. Almost taking out that Oliver. Is this enough damage? That is enough damage to instantly take out that Oliver.
Definitely can right now. And who are we looking to even plant a bomb on right now?
Well, the interesting thing is with Sekhmet, most of the time, especially against Seimei, you're looking for that heal block. 0 heal blocks landed at that moment, so Roid is not having the best of luck in this moment.
No, and even if you're going for that skill 3, Mi Ying might have something to say with that update from the recent balance patch as well, say. Is it worth it? You're also pretty healthy.
Yeah, you're pretty healthy, but also an Ongyuki doesn't really care too much about it. That additional turn might give you the chance to take out that Ongyuki. Most of the time they're not super tanky. Is still tanky enough, but actually laps a turn, and therefore you can still take it out. However, you do have the Seimei combination on the Ongyuki right now. Therefore, Ongyuki has potentially a crit. With that crit, he can do a lot of damage.
We've got the stun coming in right there, and the skill 3 wasn't back on from the Mi Ying. Are you going to be looking to strip as well? And just try and take out the damage that's still on the side of Josu?
Well, it's a little bit dangerous because I think Silver still has the skills and you definitely have to do something about that right now. But if you have that Seimei with that skill too, it could revive. So there's a lot of options still out there that Josu can get back into this match.
He definitely can right now, and Seimei is the start of that for him. We've got Silver coming in, not quite being able to do too much damage though right now, and there is healing still on the side of Roid in 2 forms.
Yep, there's still stuff going on, but the big question is, can you get the skills on for Silver, or is that Zima gonna get back into the skills right now? It does actually have another round of a potential silence right there. The sides against it doesn't go for the silence, so the skills are up right now.
Oh, big.
Absolutely big damage on that bomb right there, but the big question is right now, are you gonna go for a recovery? Because I think a Jongnam might instantly take you out.
If he's going to get frozen stunned, he is going to be able to come back up. Oh, huge.
Oh, and the additional turn from the Jongnam doing so much damage. Once again, we see Jongnam, the reason why it's that high of a win rate in G3 right now, arguably one of the highest win rates in G3. The unit just does so much. It stuns, it cleanses, or no, it stuns, it strips, it does a lot of damage. there's just so many going on.
Exactly. If you're using all of the skills correctly, you can do so much to your opponent right now. And you can see that. Just look at how healthy it is as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a high HP unit, but dealing a lot of damage with that high HP. And those are mostly very dangerous units right there. So I may try to trick in a little bit of healing right now, but the units are not looking so lively on the side with a big bomb damage from that Zima.
Exactly, and Pink Roid takes that first set win against Josu right there. Say, wow, that is why Pink Roid is a 3-time champion, right? You can see the rune quality, the use of the Jongnam, knowing how good it is in G3 at the moment. Just incredible to see.
Absolutely, and also the Zima is definitely not a unit you see that much, but when it's well used, also has a lot of bomb damage. It still worked out very well in that scenario.
Definitely did, and Julian and Kavachi might be back in the frame for both of these players as we're going into that next set. Respect bands maybe even starting to come out now. Let's find out. We've got the Oliver and the Ongyuki.
Interesting one on that Ongyuki. I think from all of the units that Josu does own, sure, he likes to use the Ongyuki a lot, but is it one of the most dangerous units? I'm not entirely sure. But let's see, with the Oliver being pre-banned, does Pink Roid instantly go for that segment? Because that is something that I think a lot of people are contesting right now.
Definitely. We've got the Water Twin Angels out on the field at the moment, trying to lock in an early speed lead right there. Kind of wanting an Antares, say.
Yeah, I have seen him play today early on ladder, and he didn't go for any Antares play. So that's more of Pink Roid just having fun rather than Pink Roid being serious. But the thing is, Pink Roid having fun is still rank 6 with an Antares. So that is an insane player right there.
Exactly. I would love to have fun and still be rank 6. I'll see you in a couple of years, let's say. We've got Kavachi, we've got Vanessa on the field on the side of Josu. Is Pink Roid also going to be looking to come in with some heavy damage in the form of that Julian?
Yeah, Julian is always a super dangerous unit, especially with that Twin Angels. It is a setup of the strip and the armor break, and then there's just so much damage going on. Also, immunity on that side. Josu, once again, bringing in interesting LD units that most of the time is like, this is a good unit for PvE, or this is a good unit for just arena offense. Josu is like, no, I like to use this in RTA. Lucifer, let's go.
Wow, Lucifer and a Kinky coming out. So if I can't have his brother, I'm going to take Kinky through. We saw how much damage that Jongnam managed to do in that last set, say. Just managing to stay around and partnering up again with the Zima.
Yeah, Zima, once again, it did show very well usage last time around with those silences coming in time and time again, making sure that the units couldn't go for the immunity that he wanted. He still has a chance to go for silver, but actually decides again that goes for the Moor. A Moor last pick sometimes is a full damage Moor, so let's see what this one does.
Exactly, we've got the speed leads coming in then for Josu with that Vanessa. HP lead on the side of Pink Roid, going into our Summoners War European League Match 3 Set 2 between Josu and Pink Roid.
That seems to be like a Swift version of a Lucifer, which is very interesting because in the end, Lucifer can boost up the speed. There's a lot of damage. Lucifer damage. Wow! This is an insane cleave. So the Lucifer in this case is just a speed booster, damage booster, and then the other units just take over. But we're not done yet. There's still 3 very powerful units on the side of Pink Roid.
Exactly, there's Julian on the field. Anything can still happen. We can get some healing right now. Can you get some stuns out as well? Only gets 1.
Only gets 1, but the Vanessa doesn't look that lively at this moment. So I'm very curious to see about this Lucifer build. Is it still going to be doing enough damage, or is it just super high on speed?
Oh, and Julian with that skill 2 coming in again. Does so much damage and an additional turn. Manages to take out that Vanessa.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot of damage. The Lucifer, however, itself doing not that much damage on this field, so we're definitely all eyes on that Kinky. Can you do enough damage? Does get the additional turn, however, but is this going to be enough damage? 10k is not enough damage to take out that unit right there.
No, it's not, and you can look to confirm that kill. Oh, kill. And getting another additional turn. Julian has got a lot to say here.
Yeah, Julian maybe had a little bit too much to say in his battle for Josu's liking. That's definitely one. However, cannot be stunned. Oh, no armor break. Did actually manage to land the armor break. If you get an additional turn right now, and as strong as you, he might get it. He will get it. He will kill it. No, he cannot kill it, but he has the Endure. He has the Endure. The Endure, because of the Endure, he actually made a win. Wow, and we go 1, and everyone is rank 1 again. Yeah.
Oh my god, that Julian had a lot to say, but Kinky also was like, hey, chill out, my friend. I'm also here on this field, and if you hit me, I'm going to revenge you. Wow. That was crazy.
That was very interesting. But that's also one of those units, like I mentioned before, Josu likes to use all of his LDs. Weird picks, doesn't matter. I've never pretty much seen a Lucifer. I've seen Lucifer as a Leo counter. Super slow, high damage. but as a speed booster, attack bar booster, that's new for me, and it definitely did work out very interesting in this matchup.
Wow, you can see there, like, the change up, right? What am I going to do in this second set? I've got nothing to kind of lose right now. Let me get 1 point back on the field. Yeah, here's your Lucifer, my friend, and Kinky coming in with so much damage. We said it, I think, when we were at SWC last year as well. Kinky obviously had that nerf before, but managing to still show that when you build it with that damage, you can see how much it was taken away from the side of Pink Roid.
Yeah, absolutely. And the main thing is, like, sure, the passive was nerfed to where it's harder to deal a lot of damage on that passive when you're hit. However, the damage from the skill 1 and the skill 2 is still exactly the same. It's still a powerhouse if you get that skill 1 rotation into an additional turn skill 2. Still a lot of damage, and that actually did showcase in this matchup.
I'm sad to say, folks, though, if you look at the current matches of today, we've just had draw after draw after draw. But I don't think that tells the full tale of the tape there, say, because that last set was pretty incredible. And the matches before, we've had so many ups and downs. Maybe one apiece is kind of, you know, deserved for most of these players, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Sure, we had a few resistance here and there, which you might say, like, that felt unfair. But in the end, everyone won the piece. So even if it didn't work out in that first round, they all did make it work in that second round.
Exactly. And now they can find out exactly. I hope they were all watching each other play there as well, because you want to do your research and see what they've been preparing for the specific matches that they've been playing in those first 3 matches. But obviously, there's 6 more matches. You're facing off against 2 other opponents today. How are you going to be able to surprise them? Have you already shown too many of your cards that you've hidden behind everybody? Or have you got everything ready for that specific opponent and show them, hey, I'm here to play in the Summoners War European League, right? Because we're going to be going to a break soon, say, why should they stick around?
Well, for more fireworks, we already had some nice matches right there. It's definitely the Josu match, like showcasing some units that other people's like, I'm going to put that to storage. That's not my RTA unit. I care about RTA only. Onyuki's not good anymore. It's nerfed. He got a pre-ban. It did pretty decent in that first match. Lucifer, nice play. I like it all. But for now, we're going into the break. Just 5 minutes. Grab some drinks, grab some snacks.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Summoners War European League 2025. I hope you enjoyed that short little break, probably re-ruining any Lucifers, Kinkies, Julians in your RTA box. Make sure you're still playing on ladder. We might even see you here next year. Who knows? I mean, it's so many new faces. We want some more new faces everywhere in all of these competitions. It makes my life writing these puns way easier when there's new names for me to figure out some crazy cool things to say. But those last 3 matches, they were all draws, but there were still some crazy entertainment factors within there, right? Fireworks all over the place.
Exactly. And actually, funny enough, I did just check the trailer that was played before we came on just a minute ago. You saw a Kinky go for an S2 in that trailer. So it was foreshadowing something nice right there for Kinky making a comeback. Definitely interesting to see. Also, we have the Devaraja in that trailer. There's only one player that does own that unit, and I think he's playing up next. So let's see if that maybe gets into play as well.
Exactly. We're all ready. What has he prepared? What has Best Spoon decided to prepare against Unarmed going up into our very next matchup? We are going to be having another 3 matches, then another small little break, and into those last 3 matches of the day. All the points have been split evenly. We're very fair. You know, everybody can take a point here and there, wherever you need one. Yep, let's all get it and raise our roof to the top of that leaderboard right now. Say it. Right now, 6 players, joint first. Job done, yep. Right?
Yeah, kind of. Well, you have 6 other players being joined second then, I guess. So everyone is a winner on day 1. That's a thing.
Everybody is a winner. Some more than others. Let's find out if that actually is going to happen and come into fruition in these next set of matches. Like you can see there, we've got Best Spoon versus Unarmed coming up very, very soon. Now, what's going to happen in this one? We saw Best Spoon went down in that very first set, managing to respond and come back into that second set. Unarmed as well. It's kind of been a tale of 2 different halves, right? I mean, we're actually going to jump straight into that match as well, say, which means it's only time for another little pun. Why did the Spoon win the fight against an unarmed opponent? Well, not yet. I can't finish that joke yet, say, because I've just realised we're not going actually into the match. We're just having a look at the matchup, right?
So first, looking at that matchup, we have Best Spoon and Unarmed. Last time around, we saw a lot of LDs, especially that Laura from Best Spoon doing so much work. It was pre-banned in that very first round, but he was managing to get that to the second round. On the other side, we did see a bunch of the units of Unarmed also do a lot of damage and a lot of work. And what we can take from these 3 matches that we have seen so far, Jongnam and Segment are very interesting picks. Both of them are high contested, like besides all of the speed leads. Of course, we're going to see speed leads, but then what do you pair them with? And I would say that Segment and Jongnam are the most crucial right now that we have seen so far. And that's also the question. Are we going to see more of that? Or in the case of Best Spoon, just more LDs?
More LDs. It's never a wrong answer in most cases, say. I would say, you know, usually it gets pretty exciting when you see them, especially on the side of Unarmed. If you see that Narsha come back into play, get way more damage coming out right now as well. Neftis was also very much part of his core kind of comp going into those matches. Is it something that you can just recognize as an opponent and be like, I know what you did last time. I can deal with you.
Well, the big thing is for Spoon, and that's also a disbenefit for Unarmed. Both of them have a Neftis, but one of them has a Neftis plus Laura combination, and that just elevates Neftis to so much stronger. So you could still be like, okay, I'm gonna steal it because I don't like to play against it in the combination that you have. So that is definitely a good steal right there, and then you can build your own comp around that. But in the case where you don't do that and you leave both of the units to the enemy, it's going to be very deadly, unless if you own a unit, you mostly know how to counter it.
Exactly, or at least you should. Right? I mean, you might not if it's brand new in your box, but if you've faced off against it because you've got it so many times, surely you know exactly how to deal with it. It's happening with me a lot right now. Say, Julian, these Zenitsus, I have constant nightmares about these things at the moment. They just don't care about him at all.
Yeah, that's I like that. I like Zenitsu a lot. I've been playing with a decent amount if you give good runes to it. We actually haven't seen any of the Demon Slayer collab units here today yet. We did see a bunch of the JJK units, the Jujutsu Kaisen units, with those Gojos in there. But mainly, we almost saw Dark Gojo and we saw the Light Gojo do a lot of work. But yeah, the Zenitsus, really good units. So I hope to see some of those today because they're definitely very strong.
Exactly. It's always exciting to see those new units being used, showing exactly what they can do on the very top platform of Summoners War RTA in that competitive scene. And that's why we're here in the European League. We are going to be getting into that matchup right now. So that pun is coming back. Don't forget about it. Why did the Spoon win the fight against an unarmed opponent? Because even without a knife, it still had a handle on things. Here we go into our match number 4, set 1 between Best Spoon and Unarmed. Are we going to see more Light Gojo action? Are we going to see that Nephthys action? Unarmed has that first pick. Is Best Spoon going to look to ban it out?
It's definitely an option to go for a ban out, but you could also just go for comfortable bans as a Cigar in this case. Other side, we do have that Laura being banned out. So the big question right now, is Unarmed instantly going to go for a first pick on that Nephthys? Then again, the Laura is banned out, so it's not that bad if Best Spoon has that Nephthys. However, Light Gojo Nephthys is still very strong.
Exactly, but we're going in for that Chandra, locking in a 24% speed lead on there. Quick response from Best Spoon as well there.
Once again, going back to the Jungnam, it's been showing so much strength in that unit. Also, just simply the skill 1, just stunning. Just by that, like, you never have a bad turn if your skill 1 can also stun. And Light Gojo also has that same thing right there.
Definitely does right now. How is Unarmed going to look to respond? We've seen the Bella come out before. We saw even Verdihill come out before. Changing it up now for an Escher and an Asher. Big damage, big speed.
Yeah, there's a lot of speed race going in there, but Best Spoon does have a Ragdoll, one of the best answers into mostly AoE crits. In this case, there's a lot of single target crits, but we do have that Zenitsu right on the platter served.
He's back from my nightmares there, so we've got a response from Unarmed, taking the Sonya. We saw Best Spoon use a Sonya in both of the sets in that first match, so deciding to maybe steal that away.
Yeah, definitely a strong unit into everything on the field of Best Spoon right now, except for the Light Gojo. You could probably take, well, also the Zenitsu, it does have that double life, so you cannot take that out, but on a Ragdoll or on a Jungnam, you could do a lot of damage.
Definitely can. Partnering it with another speed lead there, getting the Ciara in. Leo's coming out to play.
That's definitely an interesting Leo, because besides the enemy having speedy units, you also have your Zenitsu, and your Zenitsu does absolutely no damage with the Leo on the field. However, we're not going to see a Leo on the field, but we are going to see a speed contesting heavy side on that right side. Probably speed leads both sides.
Yeah, speed leads locked in with Chandra and that Light Gojo. It is here, folks, our Summoners War European League. Match 4, set 1 between Best Spoon and Unarmed. Both on 1 point each so far. Escher going first, going to be able to boost up.
Yeah, now we have a Sonya with a speed buff. You don't see that all too often. Mostly it's just a Sonya by itself, but now the speed gap is even bigger. So, where are you going to take out the Jungnam? Can you actually take it out? That is a lot of damage, as mentioned. That is just so much damage coming in. Also, did not manage to strip anything from the Narsha. But Narsha, big question right now. Are you going to go for skill 3? Whether you land it, does land it, but not too much damage.
Yeah, can Zenitsu have something to answer right now? Going for the stuns, does get 2 big ones.
Those were 2 very big stunts, but the big issue right now is that Narsha still takes another turn. Ooh, simply taking out that Sonya right there. Did manage to land a crit. How much damage is this going to be?
Oh, and that additional turn is going to help to kill it.
The additional turn is definitely helping to kill it, but now the big question, Zenitsu and a Ragdoll can still do a lot of work. Who is your first target? It's going to be that Zenitsu. Can you manage to land some slow? If you land the slow in your skill 3, you're going to lower the damage a lot of that Zenitsu, and does manage to land it.
And right now, going into that Chandra, wants to get a defend away, but there's a defense break that can come out now. Whoa!
Ooh, that Narsha was so much damage, and I think the reason why we didn't see that much damage coming for the first rotation of Narsha is because it missed a crit on that second hit. And that second hit is where most of the damage comes from. Zenitsu, you have a 2 against 1, and there's also a double life on the enemy side, but you have stuns. Can you work with these stuns? Does get the double stun, but you're gonna take a lot more turns to actually make it work right now.
Oh, but that's one way to answer.
That's one way to answer, but can you kill on this? You do have the speed buff armor break. That's a lot of damage kicking in right there. How much damage are we gonna do? Actually decided to go for the 4th skill, but the 4th skill is the only skill that's not speed scaling. So therefore did do a lot less damage, and I think that was the wrong play right there.
There we go, Unarmed managing to take that first point against Best Spoon here. Best Spoon's been in that situation before, though, say from that very first match, did go 1-0 down and managed to bring it back there. But again, new units on the field. Sometimes do you always fully read what the extra skills are?
Well, sometimes it's pretty hard, especially like the Zenitsu skill 4 is a wall of text. And then it's like, oh wait, against the Vanessa, I have like what is it called? Anti-death mechanics, but then there's a revive. That's a revive count. Oh, wait, it does count. And then in this case, it's like also, we cannot really see the kind of multipliers that are on the skills stir. It's like written as like speed scaling, but then you still don't really know the exact numbers. So there's definitely a lot of testing that goes into those new units. And whereas the skill 1 is heavy on the speed scaling, skill 2 is also decent on speed scaling, but the skill 4 is full attack scaling. So if you have that speed buff, if you don't have that much attack, skill 4 is not going to do that much damage unless you're at that 30% mark.
Exactly, and right now we're going through a full phase of mind games into our pre-bans in this second set right now. Can Best Spoon get a point back on the board? We've seen draws the whole evening so far. Will they carry it on into this set number 2? Like Gojo being banned out and Ciara being banned out.
Interesting bans right there, but this is definitely an opener for Best Spoon to go into that Nefties plus that Laura. So curious to see if he instantly takes away that Nefties. However, Unarmed is not really contesting that Nefties all too much, so he could maybe pick it later as well.
There we go. We've got Neftis coming out right now then. Speed leads. We saw Chandra as being a common pick on the side of Unarmed. We're going back to an old meta.
Yeah, the Chandra Cigar. It's definitely something you do tend to see, but I think it's more common to see the Cigar paired with a Twin Angels nowadays because of that cooldown reduction. However, we have that Laura plus a Verdial. I almost want to say Veromos, but a Verdial. Very close to a similar unit. Definitely something that everyone picked up, but also a few counters on that right away.
Exactly. Juno coming out, a Chroma. We saw how much damage came out, but is Audrey going to enter the field? We saw it was one of Best Spoon's favorite monsters at the moment.
I think Audrey is low-key pretty good because it has the self-sustain, it always gets the defense buff, and it can defense break. So if you have that scenario all set up, it can do a lot of damage. And the big difference about a defense break to an attack break, defense break is a 70%, where attack buff or attack break is 50%. So then you go up by 140, or yeah, that's how the math works, 140 on both of those 70s. So that's a lot of stacking in there, and it's actually a really good unit, especially if your enemy doesn't have that much threat of any sustain.
Exactly. We've seen a Sonya picked on the side of Unarmed. We know how much damage he managed to do in that last set right there. It did end up getting him the win overall. Bans coming in right now. Say, who are you liking?
Well, we're going to go for those bans. I was too late. But very curious to see how much this Neftis can actually do. Can you instantly take out a Ongyuki? I definitely do think so. But Ongyukis are often also on weird builds. Could be high damage, could be high HP. Let's see what this Ongyuki is going to do.
It's our match for set 2 between Best Spoon and Unarmed. That's Sonya. We're going to see right now, say, what it can do.
And we're going to go for it. And does actually manage to kill it. 47k. That is a lot of damage rocking in there right there. But definitely this match isn't over yet.
It isn't, but can Cigar have something to say? Does manage to get the cool time. Not. Verd might have something to say, but it's not looking good.
It's not looking good, but we have that glancing on that Verd, and there's the anti-crit from that Achroma. It's just a 15%, but that plus the glancing, it definitely does add up.
Definitely does. We're, at the moment, maybe looking at the first 2-0 win of our Summoners War European League at the moment, say. How can Best Spoon turn it around?
Well, it's definitely all on that Verdial and that Audrey. The moment that Audrey can start getting the right skills in, gets an armor break in, it can do a lot of damage. So there's where you have the armor break, but no follow-up yet.
No, and Sonya's just chipping away way more damage onto the side of Best Spoon right now. That skill 1 from Chandra, we know how much damage it can do. Are you just going to try and take a unit off the field? Even stun it as well.
You can definitely stun it right there, but that's where you have to counter 20k for something that was not your turn. I just pressed on the wrong unit, and I lose 20k HP for that just now.
Wow. That's something you've got to be prepared for, because the moment she starts cycling through and getting those damages off, say, does Sonya have something to say to kill that Neftis?
Well, you can definitely kill the Neftis. Maybe even you could have gambled it for the Verd, but now the two biggest issues are still on the field. 22k once again. Only on the Achroma it's going to be more difficult to land that. Also, the Sonya has difficulties for sniping out that Audrey. Plus, the Audrey has heal by itself. I can still see the units at the bottom side win this.
Oh, yeah, especially if you're landing those defense breaks as well, because she's going to be plowing in the damage right now. Countering as well.
That looks like a triple revenge. Yeah, this is definitely triple revenge, but all of those revenges just tend to add up a lot of damage. It makes her kind of untouchable unless you get a stun on her.
Oh, damage coming in. There's a silence, but it seems to be the chip isn't enough.
Yeah, the chip isn't enough. Weirdly enough, I would almost go for... Oh, 27k, that's just so much damage. I would almost try to kill it. That's the stun. That is exactly what you're looking for, but your units are not looking that healthy. You can potentially kill the Audrey, even if it has high defense, by ignore defensing on that Verd if you manage to land it because of that hog. I'm not sure how well that actually will work out. Maybe just chipping it down with skill 1 works better, because with that slow, it is really nice, but this skill 2 is definitely not going to kill right here.
Yeah, we've got there. Not going to kill right now. He needs to try and cycle with the Verd, because if that Audrey gets online, maybe not.
Ooh, the stun in the end was so crucial. That Audrey almost took it back though. That's a very interesting build. Once again, builds we don't see that often. Triple revenge Audrey almost taking it back.
Exactly, but it was the Sonya showcase right there, say. How much damage And I think it just, again, shows the rune quality of all of the players that are playing in the Summoners War European League, right? You're still managing to hit some crazy numbers against other units which are not runed like I have them. You know, like, these are some serious competition that you're up against. Crazy to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, I really do like also the attempt of trying, okay, showing in something new. We have seen that with the Lucifer before. Did work out in that case. Audrey almost made it work. If it did not get that stun from the Chandra, could have actually made it work, because the moment that she's not stunned is just so impactful. Were you to pair that with an Angela or something that can cleanse her, it's a very deadly unit right there.
Definitely is. But you can see there, it's going to be our first ever, well, not first ever, first of this year, 2025 Summoners War European League, the first 2-0, which does actually mean now, say, we have actually a first place on the leaderboard. I mean, it's not, no one's on the fence anymore. We do have a clear, definitive difference between some of our players right now. Unarmed, playing to the strengths that he knew, didn't even have his Nephthys that he'd been using so well in the previous match, but managing to pivot around it and make sure that he could still take those 2 points against Best Spoon. Pwah, there we go, it's confirmed in front of you. The first 2-0 of our Summoners War European League 2025. Are we going to continue this trend in these next set of 3 matches, say, or what do you think?
Well, let's go all the way 2-0s right now. I will be curious to see that. So for this one, we're all going to go 2-0s. And after the next break, we're going to go all for 0-2s. Like, flip it around again.
Exactly. I mean, it would look very nice for my OCD right there, say, if that was to happen. But it's Summoners War. Anything can happen. And we have no idea at the moment. We're just sat here waiting and watching, because the next matchup is between 2 Dutchies. We've got Scribble versus Roid. Now, these players, again, really need no introduction, I would say, anymore. Very much fan favourites. Very much some of the strongest competition that we've seen here right now. Both of them only coming away with 1 point at the moment. But can you let me know a little bit more about them, say?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, how much more do I need to introduce? It's the man of the Antares against the man of the Yeon Hong, Robo, Sierras. That's what he likes to play most, but also likes to switch that up a little bit from time to time. But he's definitely one of those players where Scribble is more of like, okay, I have like 10 or 50 units runed up really good, and I make my way around there. Where Roid is, I have everything runed up at the same time, all the time, all at once. So definitely 2 very different play styles in there, duking it out right here. But the big question is, what does Scribble have prepared against Roid? And did they also just prepare in the break time that they had in between? Or did they already prior prepare, like, okay, these are the 3 players that I'm playing against. I'm going to prepare a setup or a matchup against all 3 of them.
Exactly. I mean, this is why we're here to find out. I would also say these guys are actually streamers, and they probably took the worst photos out of every single one of the players that are here. Come on, guys. Look at you. You're on the big stage right now. You're in the Summoners War European League. And like we said, there's no need to even explain half of the stuff that they're doing right now. I'm really excited to see this matchup. Are we going to see that Julian come out again and do so much damage? Is there going to be another Zenitsu? Manage to scare my nightmares back into reality once again, say. I mean, like we said, these players are so strong. I mean, this may be even the blockbuster match of the whole of today. I mean, it's 2 of the top players in the whole of Europe.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are also both players that were in SWC last year. Also both players that lost in the first round of SWC last year. We have seen that difference, especially for Roid, making it all the way to World Finals and even doing very well in World Finals as well. But definitely curious to see what is working right here, because we have seen that Sekhmet work and we have seen that Sekhmet not work. Both of the players do like their Sekhmet a lot. We also seen that with the Burgild, where it does work and it doesn't work. So let's see how that will work out here in this matchup.
Exactly. Will it work? Will it not? What will work is my pun, for sure. Who has put on their dancing clogs for this matchup? Ay caramba, here we are. It is our Summoners War European League Match 5 Set 1 between Scribble and Roid. Scribble does not want Sekhmet on the field whatsoever.
That's definitely an interesting one. I think we probably have seen a Sekhmet ban before, but it's very rare that we do actually see a Sekhmet ban. A Chroma ban we have seen before though, and it's definitely a very dangerous unit, but then again, if you bring enough immunity and enough single target damage with, for example, the Jongnam that Roid really likes to use, you can definitely deal with it. But let's see what Roid goes in this case where there's no Achroma on the field.
Ooh, we're getting the Fire Bayek coming out along with those Water Twin Angels as well there, say. Managing to sell... Okay, It's also a good
Nope.
play.
Yeah. When in doubt, just smack in the LDs that work for you. And Julian is absolutely one of those. But there you have it. There you have it. The Zenitsu, the counter this Julian.
Exactly. He's come out onto the field right there. Pink Roid looking to respond then as well with that Velajoule, getting up the immunity, trying to prevent any of the kind of damages coming in too much. A bit of sustain added in there as well. Antares, are we coming? Are we here?
I don't think you really want to Antares a Jungnam all too much. And for that case, where he wants to have the Antares in there, he also mostly pairs it with a Shizuka. Could be working in this case, but one of the two is probably going to get banned out if you go for that. Actually goes for simple Heygang.
Heygang coming in right there. We know how much work he can do from just being on the field, cleansing, especially with Julian, who's going to do it every single turn right now. How can Scribble Bibble look to respond? Me, Ying coming out.
That's definitely a unit that has a little bit of a backstory. Everyone on the stream of Scribble was saying, this unit is so good, you gotta be using this, it's insane, it's so good. And he was like, it is bad, it's not gonna work, I'm not gonna play it in the SWL. But here it is on the field, and I'm very curious to see how it will work.
Yeah, partnered up with that Wedgeat as well. Going to be managing to get a lot of turns, hopefully, on the side of Scribble Bibble right now. Pink Roid, how are you going to look to respond? Maybe need some more damage coming out in that 5th pick?
Yeah, definitely would be looking for some form of damage, because now if you take away that Julian, the only damage that's going to be there is kind of that Velajoule and maybe a little bit of chip damage. But actually goes for full style of CC control, which is a light monkey, the Chitian the Sheng. You don't see that unit all too often, but it still could be very strong. However, there's 2 units on the enemy side that are not very well on stunning, which is the Miying and that Zenitsu that cannot be stunned altogether.
We've got Zenitsu being taken out then, and that Julian. Speed leads for both of Pink Roid and Scribble Bibble. This is our Summoners War European League, Match 5, Set 1. Scribble Bibble versus Pink Roid. Who can take that first point up right now?
First turn belongs to the Wedgeat, but then if you go for a strip right now, you could still strip in the sense where your monkey takes a very off turn. It's like, oh, it took a turn, but you don't really want to go for any of the skills right now. It does go for skill 2, it's a little bit of turn cycling, but in the end, didn't do all too much.
Yeah, managing there to get that branding on as well right now, and landing it. Wow, big damage.
That is a lot of damage on the branding. Also, I do think he managed to land that armor break on that very first hit. Did not manage to stun the Miying. So if you don't stun the Miying early, you cannot really stun it with the light monkey as well.
Exactly, because he does have that skill 3 coming up right now if you're looking to use the skill 3 of the monkey. But maybe you have to do it anyway.
Does actually do it, and we have a cleanse also going on that Vanessa right now. However, now you have the off time where you can start stunning that Miying. So let's see if he goes for that, or that he just tries to chip in the damage elsewhere.
Exactly, he's going to have to put the damage around that Miying at the moment because he's got the revenge up on him at the moment.
It has the revenge, but it definitely needs a few turns. Does get the stun in right there at the right moment. So the monkey, one time it can go for the counter, but the second time it will actually be stunned until it has the cooldown back.
Oh.
That additional turn, another Giant's Net, that's another round of sleeves, that's another round of slows, and there's so much attack bar going to Pink Roid by these other units not moving at all.
Exactly, and the moment he can take out that Vanessa, there's no more revive out on the field right now. Is it time to do it now, or is it you're going to have to just keep cycling through? He's decided to cycle.
Yeah, it's definitely the moment where you just keep cycling, you just focus everything on the Light Monkey. And the interesting thing is you still have the Twin Angels. Because of the Twin Angels, you can lower the cooldown of that Light Monkey every time. If you go for skill 2 right now, it's a little bit tricky because it doesn't have a full activation rate as that skill 3 has.
No, it doesn't. You've managed to get rid of that Vanessa right now as well. Oh, maybe this is the turning point for Scribble.
The additional turn, but the big question right now is not enough damage. Did do a good amount of damage, but he had to have that additional turn earlier. Once again, round of stuns.
Exactly, and Miying didn't have that skill 3 up, so it couldn't manage to cleanse itself right there. And it's just going to be cycling again from Pink Roid. As long as that monkey stays healthy, he's going to keep controlling Scribble.
Yep, there's a lot of stuff going on with the Giant Net time and time again. Also, the cooldown decrease from the Twin Angels is there once again. And he's just simply chipping down all of the units.
He definitely is. You can land out a little defense break somewhere as well if you're Velajoule right now. Maybe a bit more healing coming in for that monkey. Lands it on the Miying as well.
Landing it on the Miying is very crucial because Miying is hard to deal damage because it has a passive where if you have less attack than the Miying itself, you deal less damage to it. So it's hard to take down. But then again, it's just been time and time again being stunned. Light Monkey taking the additional turns, getting all of the cooldowns back. Even with the additional turns, the few that the Miying had, it doesn't really matter because the Light Monkey is taking more turns.
I mean, normally we're saying monkey business with the Fire Monkey, but there's even more monkey business with that light one.
There's a lot of monkey business out there right now because even the wind one in current state is pretty good. So there's a lot of potential for monkey business, but this is also definitely one of those units. I think a lot of light monkey owners don't really have it ruined up anymore or are mostly bound to not drafting it as much. But in a good 5th pick, it's still one of the best control units in the game.
Definitely is, and right now Pink Roid just chipping away. That Velodule managing to take out Scribble's last unit right there, and he's taken that 1-0 lead against Scribble Bibble in this format. We were saying before, he didn't want to use it on stream. He did use it, and he didn't win.
Yeah, that's. I'm pretty sure he's gonna go live tonight, and he's gonna be like, "I told you so, 100% told you." Let's see if it's gonna be pre-banned right now. That's what I would like to see. I don't think so, but it might be.
Let's find out. There will be an Achroma on the side of Scribble this time. Maybe that was the answer why the Light Monkey King as well could get through. Obviously, Achroma prone to not having any of that stuff against her. It can disrupt, obviously, Pink Roid's kind of control going through there. Sekhmet was banned out last time. Are we going to have a different style of Sekhmet from the second set of Scribble last time?
Definitely an option right there, but both players do like to play their Sekhmet. So it's also going to be the question on which side does it actually fall on, who's going to use it. But for the bans right now, could go to a respec ban of that Julian. That is definitely still an option. On the side of from Pink Roid to Scribble, Scribble hasn't been showing too much of his Yeon Hong playstyle that he normally likes to play. So you could ban it out, but in Scribble's case, it might not even be ruined up.
Well, they should be ruined up. It's the Summoners War European League. Berghild being respected then this time from Pink Roid. And we've got that Velodule coming out on the side from Scribble Bibble. Obviously, didn't want to have to deal with all of that turn cycling, the immunity coming up out on the side of Pink Roid. Are we going to see another Water Twin Angels? No.
Nope. Steel or Vanessa in this case. So definitely protection against single target snipes. On the other side, we do see that Sekhmet paired up with the Sierra.
Exactly. Taking the speed lead. High base speed unit with that Sekhmet as well. We saw in the second set last time for Scribble, it did come to good effect. Pink Roid right now still has that Julian available.
Yeah, Julian is available, but also that Jongnam is available. Not 100% sure if the Sierra Sekhmet counters the Jongnam, or Jongnam is still kind of fine with it. Jongnam is really one of those units. It kind of works into anything. As long as it can get a few turns off, it will work. But then again, simple working unit is that Julian once again, but also very well paired with that Juno, which is very good into the units that we see on the left side with Scribble.
Exactly, managing to bring up those passive units right now. Going to be a bit of a thorn in the hedge there for Scribble Bibble going forward into this. I mean, we've seen it before. He's relied on Robos, but I don't think it's the playstyle right now, and deciding to lock in another speed lead, and he's back for more.
He's back for another round of Miying, which is very interesting. In this case, there's not too many things that will actually stun you. Sure, the Juno Despair could, the Julian skill 2 could, but the Julian skill 2 does so much damage that it might leave the Panda altogether. On the other side, we see a Raccoon, so Raccoon kind of signals that he maybe also wants to go into a Miles. That would be a nice pair.
Definitely could be. I mean, it's more damage that's coming through as well. Because if that Julian gets taken out, it's probably a little bit more chip damage only from the side of Pink Roid right now. Mehu Wang, we've got a different monkey, but monkey business.
Definitely monkey business, but then we also have Minato, which is also one of those units you often expect to perform as solo. A lot of fire units on the enemy side could potentially solo a lot of things, but we have seen fire monkeys do some fire monkey things and defeat water units altogether.
Exactly. Bans coming in. Do you have to respect the last ban? I'm kind of hoping that Miying does go through.
Yeah, I do hope that Miying goes through. I think we're going to see a Minato ban and a Julian ban.
Wow, going instead for the Vanessa right there. So Scribble's hoping he's got enough to take it out in one go, one of these units. Speed lead and defense lead for both of them. It's our match 5, set number 2 between Scribble Bibble and Pink Roid. Can he regain a point, and will Sekhmet be Sekhmet?
Ooh, no immunity, so you could potentially go for a skill 2 right now, if you so please. Now, Reda goes for a reset, and Sekhmet did a Sekhmet thing.
Yeah, she's back from his set number 1 right now. Can you look to still land a defense break and get Miying coming in with some damage from skill 1?
Let's see. Oh, no defense breaks kicking in. Defense break did land on that very first hit. If you land this bomb right now, most Sierras in this level are very high on bomb damage. Does actually manage to take it out by the dot. So she was the best dotter in game, and it was very useful in this case.
Definitely was. But Julian has something to stake and stun up right now. Is it maybe not even the moment to use any of the skill 2s? Does go for it.
Does go for it, and that's a very good heal block on the Raccoon. That's the main thing that you're aiming for, because with that, you can at least chip out the damage on that. Ooh, the additional turn! Miying is so great! It's the best unit in the game!
Exactly. Julian right now and Raccoon have done crazy things, though, say.
Absolutely, Miying just slapping hard, like taking out Junos. It's just a lot of damage kicking in there. Is he gonna try to force the damage from multi-hits to kill the Raccoon that way? Because that's definitely an option that he could go for.
Definitely can. And getting that additional turn now can look to do some more damage. Goes into the Julian. And right now, it's looking good for Scribble.
That's looking very good for Scribble. And that's also what Julian's still trying to do Julian things. But once again, we go one apiece. And Miying had a very good showcase in that match right there.
He definitely did. His chat might have been right all along. And you've just got to listen to them and hope for the best. And eventually it will come through. Because that Miying did manage to work its way through for Scribble Bibble right there. Again, points are split. We've had just one moment where it was a 2-0. Every other match so far has been that 1-1. But again, I think that comes down to the adaptability of all of our players here, say. I mean, Sekhmet maybe was trying not to be so adaptable for Scribble in the end, but Miying had something to say.
Yeah, Miying definitely did work. Like taking out a Fire Monkey turn 1. Most of the time, Fire Monkeys are very high on HP, very defensive kind of style of unit. And then it takes multiple turns and then it starts getting very strong. But taking it out turn 1, it's definitely very strong. And from there, the Miying, the troublesome to take out was probably the Juno. But the Miying was like, nah, I'll take that additional turn. A good 5k smacker per hit, 3 times. Make that a 6. A lot of damage kicking in right there.
Definitely is right there. I mean, let's see if he's actually happy when he streams later tonight and sees what everybody has to say about it right now, because
he's going to be like, no, it was just this one time. It just procced. It was just that one time.
Exactly. It's only that one time. It's only that one time for Sekhmet. You know, miss sometimes, miss the other times. Let's find out. I mean, Scribble Bibble versus Pink Roid. There it is. 1 apiece right now. Unarmed with the only player at the moment to have got 2 points in a single match. And looking forward into those next matches, so we will be having Josu versus Slaix. It's going to be interesting to see, again, fully new faces kind of in the top competitive RTA scene. You might be a bit more familiar with Josu. Slaix, like we said before, is a guildie of yours. But they've both got a point on the board already. And we saw some crazy strats come from Josu.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm liking Josu's draft. It kind of reminds me of back in the days with Tutu. He came in with all kinds of weird strategies, LDs that you normally don't see. Back in his days, it was like a Tabe. I'm like, what is this doing on the field? Sure, Lucifer, I've seen it before, but I've seen it as Leo counters. I haven't seen it as an actual speed boost because, once again, that skill 2 boosts 20% attack bar of your whole team. So it's not just the Lucifer passive giving a little bit of attack bar. That skill 2 also does it.
Exactly. And there you can see them in all of their beauty and wisdom. Josu and Slaix, they've managed to make it into this Summoners War European League 2025. And I'm just really excited to see new faces there. Honestly, it's a breath of fresh air to see some new faces at the top of the game in Europe. They've managed to get their way all the way here, which is already a feat in itself. And now to be in these matches, wow. Like we said before, Silver was very much a part of Josu's kind of playstyle there. Slaix must know this. How do you combat that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, probably pre-banning it. That's always the best way. Like, one match you can pre-ban it, but the other match you have to face it. So you have to prepare one match that's like, okay, then I don't have to face it, but then you still have to play all of the things that Josu does play, which is very different than you see on ladder. And therefore, it's also a slightly advantage for Josu because he has a lot of advantage or a lot of play matches into everything that's meta. Whereas Slaix doesn't have that many matches in against the style of Josu because Josu's the only one that actually runs it. So that's a very interesting to see. Is like, okay, how well can you adapt against something that you haven't played versus before?
Exactly. And you see there, Slaix said he likes cleaving. Josu just did it in the last set of his last match. I'm interested to see if these guys will stand by what they say they want to do in terms of their most favourite play style. It's always fun to see a cleave if it works off. Fun for your opponent if it doesn't come off. But you don't know that until you try it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's definitely the only Yukis for Josu that make that cleave for him possible as well. On the other side, we do have that Kofachi setting up into cleave kind of styles too. So definitely interesting to see. Also, we had, I think it was Slaix coming in with a Misty last time around. So definitely units you don't see all too much, but still very strong units.
Exactly. But strong units, strong puns. That's what I say in every walk of life. Because right now, some say Josu might have 9 lives. Will one be slayed this evening? Let's find out in our Summoners War European League Match 6, Set 1 between Josu and Slaix. We've got that Kovaci pre-banned as well as the Silver, knowing that they don't want to face it in those first few picks right now. What are we going to see from the side of Slaix?
Is he gonna go for a segment kind of style too? Or maybe a Sierra? Nope, going for an Oliver.
taking a 33% speed lead, knowing that Josu doesn't have one from that pre-ban of the silver coming out already. Josu last time had like a full dark and then a full light going through in the previous rounds. This time we've got that Vanessa to lock in a 33 and the Ongiyuki as well.
Yeah, definitely going back to that Ongiyuki. It was also pre-banned in that second round that he did in his last match. So definitely a unit he likes to play a lot and therefore also has to be feared. So Oliver is a good unit that can deal with a Ongiyuki. But what does Slaix like to pair with that?
Let's find out right now. He's taking the time. We've got a Sekhmet out on the field and we've got that Zeratul as well. Taking a dark opponent against Josu right now. We know how much damage it can do. How does Josu look to respond here?
Yeah, absolutely. That Zeratul is definitely a way to deal with those kind of units. Josu on his side does like to go for more of ACC control kind of comp. No, actually goes... Well, we have the control kind of comp with the Jungnam, but then we also have the anti-Oliver in that Lucia.
Yep. Managing to keep that sustain on the side for Josu to try and maybe get that Ongiyuki to do more damage. Slaix, how does he follow this up right now? Maybe looking also for some form of sustain?
Well, the big issue is you don't see the 5th draft of Josu yet. Otherwise, I would say go for snipe units. Go for something like a Federica or a Sonia. But he does actually go for full dodders. There's no cleanse on the side of Josu, which is a nice read. However, there's still a lot of healing. So if you had something with more of a heal block, would have maybe been more instinct. But I do like that Asuma and that Bludger right there.
Exactly. Is Josu a new stage of TOA hell here? Because it looks like Slaix tried to answer it right there with those additional damage over time. Whoa, hello.
And that's a Ritsu. That's a very interesting unit. Could be impactful if it lands its skills, but it's one of those units that's very much a sitting duck if it doesn't manage to land it. But I definitely do think that he has to be banning one of the dodders on the side of Slaix, which is either that Asuma or that Bludger.
Exactly. Asuma bringing the defense breaks out as well, which could play into the picture for Josu, who he decides to ban out right now. Are you going to be looking to respect ban from the side of Slaix? Goes for that Lucia, and we've got the Asuma out of there. Both the guys will be taking the speed leads coming through into our Summoners War European League. Match 6 now. Set 1 between Josu and Slaix. Both ranked 4th at the moment in the league.
Yeah, let's see what goes on. In this case, Bludger cannot go for AoE dots, but she can still go for an AoE slow. So it's still an impactful unit right there. Big question, who do you want to reset first? We're going to go for the Jungnam. We do manage to land on that Jungnam.
Exactly, getting that Jungnam, not allowing to get any healing out of it anytime soon. But it seems like they were trying to go speed but slow.
Ooh, in this case, we do also manage to get a stun, but we did not manage to get any reset or any strips on that Ritsu. But this is the time where you probably want to start hitting that Ritsu and pushing it back.
Exactly, and Oliver can come in looking as well to make sure that he can't get any of the skills going off right now. But Ongiyuki's going to follow up soon as well. Who do you go for?
You definitely go for the Ritsu, because the Ritsu is the control of the damage. And Ongiyuki with just an armor break, I don't think you're going to do enough damage. That is a huge stun, though, because the Bludger in the next turn would have done a lot of work. But on his own side, Ongiyuki is doing a lot of work here as well.
Definitely is, and even though Oliver's going to try his best to keep in control of Josu, it's not looking too good there.
It's definitely not looking too good. Also, that segment is not landing too much. Also, would have the Oliver resetted the Vanessa, which he had the chance for, he could have killed one of the units on Josu's side. So I think he could have played that maybe slightly different to get that Ritsu off the field right now.
Definitely, and with Vanessa coming in, does manage to get stunned. We saw Despair earlier. Can you get a defense break? Oof.
No defense break, so once again, Oliver could go for Oliver rotations right now. I would definitely recommend to reset the Jungnam right now and then reset that Vanessa, because if you reset that Vanessa, you have a window where you can kill something with that Zeratul.
Exactly. Get a unit off the field right now. You're 3 against 5, effectively, as long as Vanessa is on the field with that skill 3. Getting the cool time does allow the opening.
It does allow the opening. Oliver, how much damage can you do? Does decide to go for a little bit of pushback. Big question right now. Do you take out that Ongiyuki or do you take out the Ritsu? I think you have to go for the Ongiyuki.
Ooh, went for the Ritsu this time. If we get an additional turn from a defense break, no.
Ooh, that's still a lot of damage. Also, the cooldown is back on the Vanessa right now. So if you decide to kill anything right now, it will still have that second life.
Definitely will. But Zeratul can do a lot of damage if he gets some additional turns coming in now.
Is that that is the perfect amount of HP that you like to see on the unit if it does not take an additional turn right now on an attack. That's gonna hurt so much. That is just so much damage coming in right there.
Can you even get the rebound now off the Vanessa with that skill 1 going for it? Doesn't, but stuns.
Doesn't get the rebound right there, but there's still a lot of damage coming in potentially from that Zeratul. But is Zeratul gonna be doing enough damage right now? You have to be taking a few additional turns here, Zeratul. Maybe you can make it work.
Ooh,
does
he answered your prayers.
Yep, you definitely have to take it out. You still have to double hit it. But now the big question, can we get strips? Did not really strip the right thing. There's still a lot of damage coming in from this S2. But if you S2 right now, you steal the immunity. Does get the additional turn as well. Giant Bat does manage to get that stun, and that was huge.
Jongnam has been huge for the players in our Summoners War European League because he's going to be able to brand now. Can even Vanessa kill it?
Nope, Vanessa, not enough damage, but I think you have to take multiple additional turns for now to get a little bit of healing back in. Does actually get it. Can we get 5 dots? If we get 5 dots, this is actually gonna kill, but the revive is there again. But the turn, once again, belongs to the Zeratul. Zeratul is insane. This damage will absolutely take it out, and that Vanessa's doing way too little damage to actually kill it. And there's just so much going on there.
Wow. Zeratul coming huge there for Slaix. Just, you know what? Just refusing to dice it. I'm not leaving this field until I've managed to win it for my summoner.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's also the difference what you can see in a Vanessa. If that Vanessa had slightly bit more damage rather than being super tanky. Because now every time that you just ignored the passive of the Vanessa, sure, it was there, it revived a bunch of times, but it was also reset a bunch of times, so it just didn't work. And if you can fully ignore the Vanessa, you can just kill the high value damage targets on the enemy side. Vanessa would have rather been a little bit of damage as well and could have taken out that Zeratul in that way.
Yeah, and that is the biggest respect right there on his name. I've just seen what he's done to me. He's not entering the field this time. Kavachi being pre-banned out as well. Are we going to go back to silver for Josu right now?
Yeah, we're definitely going to go for silver. I would be very surprised if he picked anything else, but definitely that respect on that Zeratul is very understandable.
Definitely, and there's respect there as well. The Jongnam was trying his best, but didn't quite succeed.
Yeah, the Jongnam was actually very close. With that additional turn, with the stun, he made it very, very close. But in the end, couldn't make it work out. On the other side, Ongyuki also did do a lot of work in that last match.
Definitely did, and some monkey business as well with the Mehuan. We know how much damage can come out from that guy. Even just with the self-healing as well. Both of those units, big damage, but still some sustain.
Yep, absolutely. So let's see how he wants to deal with that. Could maybe go back to like a Sonya kind of style. If he has a good Sonya ruined up, I'm not sure if Silvers are in general build anti-Sonya. It's definitely one of those units that could be. Robo, does he go for double Robo? No, goes for a single Robo right there.
Oh, wow. Robo Gaming is back in 2025, apparently. We've got Ciara partnered up as well, getting that speed lead right now. How is Josu going to look to answer? We've got the Lucia coming out on the field.
Once again, going back to that Lucia, which is also a very good unit here because all 4 units on the side of Slaix have a attack bar pushback. So that makes that unit very good at double monkey business. We haven't seen it yet before, but the Jinsei is very good in current meta. There's just a lot of counter potential and it strips and stuns right now.
Exactly. Bloodia coming out onto the field as well, saying to Slaix, you'll never walk alone here because we're in it together. Let's find out who the bans are going to be.
I would definitely say you have to respect that Lucia, because the moment Lucia's on the field, all of your pushbacks are just not going to do enough, and all of the damage you deal from the dots are not going to do enough as well, so therefore it's going to be taken out. On the other side, we have that Robo being taken out because that was the main stripper.
Exactly. Speed leads coming in for both of the players here then in our Summoners War European League Match 6, set number 2 between Josu and Slaix.
Yeah, let's see what we can do with that Jongnam right here. There's only 2 immunities on the enemy side, so you can already take out something, and therefore you could go for skill 3. It has pushbacks, and it has a lot of dots coming in right there.
There is a lot of dots, and the silence is coming out as well. So I can look to land a bomb and maybe even take out a unit.
Yeah, if you land this on the monkey right now, probably you don't kill it. But if you land this on the silver, you can definitely take it out right here. But that is going to be the big question. Where do you want to land it? Is this high bomb damage on that Sierra? I was looking at a 19k. That was very good damage. But as I said, that monkey on the right side does do a lot of monkey business too.
He definitely does. Oliver can look to reset some cool times as well. But silencers are out in the field on the units that have not got the immunity. Ongyuki, it's your time to shine.
Your time to shine. You definitely want to go for it in skill 1, additional turn, skill 2 rotation, but the additional turn in this case belongs to the Sierra and it's going to have another bomb next turn.
It will. Can you look to get some stuns out? Stun and the seal.
Oh, there's a lot of stuns coming in from this monkey, and it's definitely really doing its work. Now it's always the dangerous part. Do you want to hit with the Oliver on something else? Can you manage to stun this monkey through wrong element? No, the monkey stuns you.
Monkey stuns you, but Oliver can look to reset it down, so it's not going to be able to get any defense breaks out anytime soon, but resisted.
Oh, resisted right there. Also, the Ongyuki. Once again, every hit that this monkey has done so far is a stun. Plus, we have this Ongyuki taking a second turn. Once again, just dealing so much damage.
It might be another LD carry here at the end with the 1 unit if Ongyuki can get online more.
It's definitely going to be the question of how much more can the Onyuki do to the Olive, because Olive can definitely shut down an Onyuki, but the big issue is you don't really want to be hitting it because of that monkey right there. Can you glance the monkey? Would be impressive, would be nice. Does finally get the glance on the monkey, so the monkey will have more troubles of actually stunning something right now.
Here we are, Oliver again. No skill 3 at the moment though. Can Onyuki come to set a defense break up? There's no skill 2 yet.
Ooh, the defense break. The crit does actually manage to kill it. Now all eyes are on the Bludgeon. You need this extra turn. I'm pretty sure this Bludgeon was on Despair, so it's not going to be taking an additional turn right there. But is this going to be enough? It's not going to be enough.
Does get the crit as well. Can you do it now? A big additional turn. Defense break into a skill 2 could be huge for Josu.
Oh, there was a resistance right there. So you definitely have to go for the third skill right now. A lot of dots rocking in right there. Can you potentially go for the stun, but more go for the attack bar absorb and a little bit of healing? If you go for skill 2 right now, is it going to be enough damage on the dots?
Ooh.
Okay, that additional turn might definitely help. I think, yeah, that is going to be enough damage, because this skill 2, a little bit of add damage, is definitely going to be taking out that Onyuki right there.
And it does confirm for Slaix. He takes 2 points against Josu here in our match number 6 of the Summoners War European League. Wow. I mean, it was nearly the tale of the 2 different LDs there. We had Zeratu in that first set, say, and Onyuki trying to respond, but Bludgeon. I mean, we've seen the comps that have been coming around recently. I think it was Glorious playing that at the very start. Crazy how many dots she can actually apply. TOA hell perfect, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also a very interesting unit where people sometimes forget. It's like, oh, it's like a Rika. It does do a lot of dots. It's very nice. No, it's slightly different. It has pushbacks on the skill 3. It has a silence on the skill 3. But it also has an AoE strip plus slow on the skill 2. So there's a lot of it going to the kit where it just simply makes it a very good 5th pick. Like, sure, maybe using it a lot, picking it first pick or second pick. I also tried that a little bit. You're going to face a lot of Junos and you're not going to have a great day. But if you late pick, it is super strong.
Exactly. You can, like you said there, the silence, I think, is also a big one that people forget about, because a lot of those units on the side of Josu right there had some sort of self-sustaining skill 2s, but they couldn't get the skill 2s off. They only had that skill 1 opportunity to try and get any stuns coming in through, but we'll see now from the bracket, from the schedule of today, that does confirm our second 2-0 of the day. The rest of the matches have all been draws and the points have been split, but we have 2 definitive people at the top of the leaderboard now, say. And interestingly enough, both of them are French.
Both of them are French, but I think what's even more interesting is that Slaix came in with the highest finish rank of 600 something. He's G2. He's managing to beat some of the high G3 players right now, and he's doing very well.
Definitely is. I mean, he must be so excited that he's managed to pull this off, and especially against some very top players. I mean, these aren't players to just be messing around with. But for all of you guys watching, why are you here? I'll tell you why you're here. Because obviously we've got some coupons for you to redeem. Swell is here. And Swell is here with 100 energy and 1 mystical scroll. Maybe there's a bludger in that mystical scroll. You'll never know. You'll never know until you try it. Somewhere in chat, they'll be there.
It is always the luck of the try. You might say like, just 1 mystical scroll. But what if you watch all 8 weeks? You gotta get a lot of 1 or 2 or 3 mystical scrolls every time. It might add up. You might want to be there.
Exactly. And if you haven't already seen it on Say's YouTube channel, you just know how much you can get from playing this game. Like, there is so many opportunities to get some stuff, summon some monsters. Just be like Say, you know, I'll get an LD classically whenever I need it. Yeah, new one, cool. Yeah.
Something like that. Don't call me out like that.
There's many other people that are calling it out, so don't worry. We're all here to have fun and experience those new monsters. That's why we play.
Absolutely. It's always good to see a bunch of new toys. And actually in this league so far, we have seen a lot of new toys. But first of all, we're going into a short break once again. But then we still have 3 amazing rounds to come up. Take a break and we'll see you right back.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this Summoners War European League 2025 match day number 1. We've had 6 incredible matches that have taken place so far. 3 more to go, though, and some very, very big matches still to happen during this first day of matches. It's going to be crazy. It's already been crazy. We've seen some crazy comps that have come into play just in those last matches, seeing units that we don't commonly see, like a Bloodyear coming out. LDs still being as strong as ever, right, though, so...
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about all these, next matchup we have Big Spoon against Pink Roid. And we're talking about a lot of LDs. Big Spoon has been showing a lot of that, or Best Spoon, sorry, has been showing a lot of LDs so far. So let's see what they can do against one another. Also for Pink Roid, it's interesting to see, besides his Julian, he does have a lot of other LDs as well, but he hasn't been using them yet. So it does also showcase that even with just the normal elemental units, such as the Sekhmet, the speed leads that are a bunch of the Chandra, the Moor, the Oliver, there's just a lot of good units out there to actually make it work. And these are the standings that we have so far.
Exactly. We've had some draws. Usually the case here in the Summoners War European League. Remember, it's only best of 2 matches, so the points can be split, and you only take that 1 point that you win into the overall leaderboard. But we do have Unarmed and Slaix who have managed to get those extra points, who will be sitting nicely at the top of our Summoners War European League after match day 1. Well, maybe not. We've still got 3 more matches. Let's see exactly how things are going to end up here for us, because we have got some bangers. Leading on to it, like you said, Best Spoon versus Pink Roid. Maybe Best Spoon was a little bit unlucky with that Audrey getting stunned out in those last matches, but also Light Monkey King on the side of Pink Roid was just so controlling.
Yeah, definitely a very interesting unit, and definitely one of those units that you saw a lot in like 4 or 5 years ago. It was one of the better LDs out there right now, and it's kind of forgotten right now, but Pink Roid, he can find those forgotten units and do very well with them.
Exactly. They might be forgotten for some, but like we say all the time with Pink Roid, his just memory of playing this game so much, being at the top level so often, you know most of the answers before you've even seen them come out onto the field right now, and it just makes it for such a spectacle. Who do you favour in this one?
It's difficult to say. I would say by just having a lot of knowledge in pre-bans and tournament play, I would give a slight favor to Pink Roid.
Let's find out. Also with Best Spoon, it's our first English contestant since the likes of Bows in our SWCs before. So the question is, to be spooned or not to be spooned? That's Pink Roid's question right now. Going into our Summoners War European League, match 7, set 1 between Best Spoon and Pink Roid. Pre-bans have come in. Respect on some of the strongest LDs in the game at the moment there, say.
Yep, we have that Laura and Julian not participating in this first round. Let's see what Best Spoon goes for a first pick. Last a few times around, he has been picking that Light Gojo. Light Gojo first pick is very nice on ladder, but in a tournament setup, maybe you want to be looking at more stealing rather than just picking something you do know that the enemy doesn't have.
Exactly. We're seeing again Jongnam coming in. He's been clutch for a lot of players today. Sekhmet, sometimes clutch, sometimes maybe not so clutch.
Yeah, let's see how this segment will do this time around. But Jongnam has been showcasing a lot of great matches so far. So Best Spoon, what would you like to face against those powerhouse of units that you see over there? He has a lot of options. Achroma, Juno, definitely 2 very strong options right there.
Exactly, especially if there's a Sekhmet on the field. If there's AoE defense breaks coming out, those units are going to eat that up. Literally, Juno eats it up. Achroma says, nah, I'm not eating what you're giving me today.
But Tianlang is a very interesting unit, especially into that Achroma, because Achroma got a recent buff that Achroma takes a little bit of attack bar for any of her allies that were missed on a crit. But then Tianlang says, like, no, I like that attack bar. So definitely a very good call right there. Listing it off with a little bit of sustain of that Angela.
Angela. Best Spoon, though, becoming a little bit more aggressive in pick 4 and 5 with that Nephthys, getting another speed lead in. Sonya's have been going off a little bit today.
Yeah, definitely. But I could say that Pink Roid could go for a cleansing kind of unit on that 5th pick right now. Ban out the Sonya, and then I think he has a pretty shot at bruisering it out.
Yep, can he bruiser it up? I mean, he's taking his time now to figure out exactly how he wants to work around this. Tianlang and Angela just keeping it healthy, putting out some stuns across the rest of the field wherever possible. A Samath?
Samath. Is that going to be something that I like to call a tech math? A super high damage Samath? Well, we're not going to find that part out.
No, we don't. We get a speed lead coming in the side of Best Spoon, and we get that HP lead from Pink Roid. It's our Summoners War European League Match 7, Set 1 between Best Spoon and Pink Roid. Who's going to take those crucial points?
We got the first turn going to that Gojo, managing to strip most of the units, but not all. We also have the Akroma taking a turn earlier than that Nefty, so you don't have an armor break setup that Akroma so much likes to do a lot of damage on.
Can you get some stuns and strips coming out right now? Resistance there.
Resistance, but the only one unit you want to not strip and stun is actually stunned right there on the field right now. Nefty's having a clean shot at all of those debuffs that she does.
Exactly. Look at all those defense breaks. They're going to get eaten up by an Akroma very soon.
Yeah, we have that Angela trying to chip off the things. Actually managed in this first rotation to remove that heal block. Those are always the most crucial things to remove. But then again, we have some stuns, but stuns being chopped off by that Tian Lang itself.
Exactly. He's targeting his damage into that Akroma as well because he knows how much damage is going to be coming the longer she stays on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. But that Tian Lang, there's just so much chip damage to Tian Lang. Nowadays, Tian Lang is not really used as a strip kind of unit. It's just used like a lot of chip damage, armor breaking, try to get a stun in. But that cannot be happened when it's stunned itself.
Exactly. The moment it's stunned, and he's trying to get some stuns of his own, but you can get some silences out right now. Do you need to go? It's gone on the Sekhmet there.
Still on the segment, but once again, there's not too much healing going on the side of Vespoon. It's just that Juno, but you can decide when that Juno heals. That is one of those crucial units like that. I think you still have to focus more of the damage onto the Akroma. However, that Akroma is enabling Tian Lang getting a lot of turns, but that Juno is doing a lot of work with all of her stuns so far.
He's up now 4-3 in terms of units, and that Jongnam could not get a skill 3 for some healing, but Angela being on the field is going to protect it a little bit longer.
Angela just doing so much work, but there's another Curse of the Beautiful. Armor breaks across the board, and that's a lot of damage potentially rocking in on those armor breaks right now.
Can you get rid of that Tian Lang? Going in for the Angela instead there.
Big question. Halo Purple mostly doesn't do all too much damage, but it does do enough damage on that armor break.
Exactly, and there's heal blocks all on the side of Pink Roid right now. So any Jongnam coming in with that skill 3 isn't going to be healing up too much, and can't anyway because of the silence.
Can't do it because the silence in this case did not manage to remove the heal block, but there is the heal block being gone. But we're only healing the Jongnam. The other two units are still looking very not so lively.
Exactly, getting those stuns in right now. But Jongnam, I think, still has something to say in this match. Can you get some more stuns?
Oh, the Jongnam down, going for a big bat and doing a lot of damage, getting enough attack bar to also take out, once again, Jongnam just taking so many turns, doing so much work, and actually bringing the clutch over here.
Jongnam is the man of Summoners War European League 2025 so far right now. Just having so much in his kit that is proving undeniable for some point wins here. Pink Roid taking that first set 1-0 against Vespoon. Say, Jongnam, what a crazy unit at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is also one of those units. It's very high on the HP, but not that high on the defense. If you hit it with the skill 2 of the Akroma, which is enemy max HP scaling, on an armor break, you do a lot of damage to it. And maybe that's something that Vespoon should have been just analyzing early on and seeing like, okay, that unit, if it takes the multiple turns, it's very deadly.
Exactly. We're going to be having likely a Julian and a Laura back in frame. Taking out the Water Twin Angels there and that Light Gojo, which we know Vespoon has been first picking a lot going into these matchups. Pink Roid is first to play. Are you going to take that Jongnam straight away?
Well, there's definitely an option to take the Jongnam. He's definitely been liking the Jongnam and the Sekhmet. So, yep, Jongnam, once again, it's been showing in the last match. It was very strong. Let's use it again.
Exactly. So much control with that first skill, second skill, branding, damage, third skill with healing. He's got it all, that guy. He's got it all.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just so much going on to his kit. But another unit that has a lot of stuff going on to the kit is that Laura. Laura, of course, well counted by a Juno. So let's see what he likes to pair with that.
Exactly. Juno is out on the field, and an Oliver maybe getting that speed lead coming in and can also get the cool times off. But will it be able to get it off to good effect against a Laura? Usually very, very fast.
As once again going in for a Ragdoll, also a very crucial unit, but you are playing a Ragdoll against an opponent that you do know that has a Tian Lang. You could maybe pick a Tian Lang yourself next to the Ragdoll, but it becomes a little bit awkward because there's so many pushbacks and stunts on the enemy side potentially, and it maybe doesn't really work well together.
Ooh, we've got a Parter coming out there to play. We're getting some immunity up on the side of Vespoon. Are we going to see that team? Whoa, Miles Raccoony, we're back a long time ago.
Well, actually, not that long time ago. We had this played by Pooh in SWC of last year, and Pooh currently rank 1 player. He plays very well with that. Plus, we actually have the unit of the Summoners War European League itself, Devaraja. But is it going to get into play? It does not get into play.
Sadly not. So we've got speed lead on the side of Pink Roid with a HP lead on the side of Vespoon right here. It's our match 7, set 2, the last match and set for these guys today. Miles going to be going first. Are you looking to get a stun?
Yeah, definitely can try to get a stun. With that on the segment, does land it on the segment. Also prevents the segment from getting a first rotation of skills off.
Exactly, and leaving that branding on there as well. But Laura, that skill 3, we know how good it is. Oof.
Does do a decent amount of damage right there, but actually not as much damage as I was expecting. Plus, the Oliver has something to say about it with potentially resetting some of the skills.
Exactly, can look to reset now. Does manage to get it as well. We know the skill 3 is coming out, but Juno's going to be taking a turn soon.
Yeah, this is kind of the awkward rotation where you rather had your Pater move after than before. And that just makes it a little bit awkward because going for the skill 3 right now will definitely be picked up by the Juno. But if you don't do it, the Juno's just simply not going to do her skill 2.
Exactly, being on the field now is just going to be annoying. Can you chip damage enough away? Maybe your skill 2 even coming out, set up some defense breaks?
Well, if you go for the skill 2 right now, you really need that heal block on that Oliver. Does not manage. Actually, it's managing to land everything on the Juno, but nothing. Oh, you have to additional turn this right now. Laura doing Laura takes the action manage. No, 12.8k heal on that Oliver, making it almost close to like 40% HP.
Exactly, he's back up and healthy, and right now can look to even take his time on deciding when he wants to get rid of that segment right now. Good cool time into the parter as well.
Cooldown in the parter, tried to get a stun on the skill 1, did not manage to get it. Also in this case, the Pater hasn't been showing all too much in the kit, which it's potentially doing, but Oliver Miles is just working so well in this draft.
Ooh, maybe an option for some stuns. Can you start cycling? Oh.
A little bit of cycling, but you wanted to be looking at the stun on that Jongnam because it's just doing so much work. Decides to go for that skill 3 right now, but I'm not really sure if it's the right combination right there. It does get a provoke, does get an additional turn, so back to the Druid form, and that's where you mostly want to be, in that Druid form, so your passive works.
Exactly, but Jongnam coming in clutch. Can you even get a stun there on the Laura? Not yet. Skill 3 is available. Let's boost up some speed.
Boost up some speed, but also the damage. There's not too much damage going on. Okay, that's a good amount of the chip damage everywhere, but still, Juno and Jongnam are looking very lively, and you still have to get rid of this Miles too.
Exactly, Miles is still there at the moment. Do you confirm the kill? No, trying to go in for the strip instead onto the ragdoll. But Laura being on the field is going to be annoying in the long term.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be dangerous because if you skill 1, the Pater skill 1s do not connect, also have a chance to stun, but did not manage to get the stuns right there at that moment.
No, Juno right now can look to just add in some more damage, confirm that kill on the Laura. Good decision. Miles is going to follow up soon with some extra damage.
Once again, this Jongnam is doing so much work. Every time it has that skill 2, there's just a lot of damage coming from that unit. Ragdoll being stunned. Also, Ragdoll just used the skill 2, so it's not as much of a danger. And we have the second win going to Pinkroid.
Pinkroid taking it 2-0 against Best Spoon here in our Summoners War European League. That was match number 7. Pinkroid getting those 2 points on the board right there. I think there's only one unit we can call out from that match there. Jongnam.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Jongnam has been doing so much work. It's definitely a really dangerous unit. The skill 2, skill 3, so impactful, so much going on. There's just attack bar absorbs, there's stuns, there's heals. That is a really loaded kit. The moment that you read someone's kit and it's like, oh, this skill does this, and this, and this, and this. It's like, okay, enough ants, it's fine, we get it, you're good.
Exactly, just stop it. Stop playing with it. It's fine. But he was crucial there. I think so far he's been the star unit, like I said, of this Summoners War European League, coming into good effect. Let's see if the other opponents or the rest of the players actually utilize him now, going into the rest of the matches. But there will be confirmation that it is 2-0 Pinkroid. Best Spoon has not had a good day in this match day number 1, right? I mean, I think he's only on 1 point, maybe 2.
I think he's on 1 point, but we will definitely check that later on the leaderboard. I think we checked that in just a second, so that's always great when the backstage they back you up and saying like, oh, you want to know, Bob? Here you have it right away. You see it. But yeah, you're totally right. Only had 1 victory so far. Had a 0-2 to Unarmed and a 0-2 to Pinkroid and a 1-1 against Slaix. And Slaix is what we're going to see in that next round with Scribble Bibble.
Exactly, against Scribble Bibble, who has managed to get at least 1 point from all of his matches so far. Slaix with that 2-0 against Josu and that 1-1 against Best Spoon right here. Like we said, you really want to get some points on the board nice and early because when it comes towards those playoffs, you really want to be higher in the leaderboard. You have to play less matches, less strong opponents against you potentially, and that's how you can make sure that you win it, right? I mean, look at Pinkroid last year. He was in the top 2, only lost 1 match, won another, oh, win another. You know, it makes it a lot easier the higher you are up on that table. But both of these guys right now, Slaix versus Scribble, Bibble? Is it more redemption arc angles for Miying?
I think we're gonna see some more Miying, and I think he's gonna be like, I think he wants to keep using Miying until it loses enough where he can say like, no, I can bench it, it is bad. But if he starts winning with it, then it's going to be like, yeah, I already knew it was great. So we know Scribble people, we love him for that reason. Let's see if he can actually make it work against Slaix, because Slaix had that 0-2, and I would say where Miying has a very interesting passive, 0-2 is still the better version of the two of them.
Definitely is, but let's see if he can prove everybody wrong. I mean, crit damage Miying, question mark. Let's find out. Let's tune in later tonight, but here we are, pun number 8 of the day. Slay away, stick arms. Time to light up the arena as it's Scribble Bibble versus Slaix in our match 8, set number 1. Wow, here we go. Pre-bans coming out. Are we going to see some Berko respects? Already some Jongnams? No. We got these Yonhong and the Kavachi coming in.
Yeah, the Yonhong has actually not been played by Scribble at all so far. And that's what I was talking about by Scribble. He mostly likes to rune up just a very select amount of units to not make drafting too complicated, but also really focus your runes to just a few units to have them really good runed, rather than having 80 units semi-okay runed. So it might even be that Yonhong is not runed in current position. But first pick, we go back to that Cigar.
Wow, old school. Let's get Cigar first pick as well. Responded from Slaix. We've got Oliver, we've got Sekhmet locking in a 33. Always good against an opponent who also has the 33 with Vanessa there and that Berghild.
Yep, once again, going back to that 0-2. This was definitely an option where you also can go for that Acroma. Acroma is definitely not too bad into 0-2, but in the end, it's just a 15% check where 0-2 doesn't go for the multiple cycle on that skill 1. I would say that Acroma is a really good unit on that 5th pick right now, also by seeing the other units that are on Slaix's side, and he also does find it in his box right there.
Exactly, Acroma hitting the field with that Juno. Passives coming into play on the side of Scribble Bibble right now. Maybe you need another form of damage on the side of Slaix if that Zeratu's banned out.
I would say that anything that is drafted that is better than what is currently on the field already is going to be instantly banned out. I definitely do like Scribble's draft right there, as long as the 0-2 doesn't go off too hard. But the big question is, can Slaix maybe find something that would be very strong? I would say a Fire Monkey might do a lot of work, or you just check your previous matches and be like, okay, they say this unit good, I pick this unit.
Exactly. I mean, stats don't lie, and he's been super strong today. In terms of the bans, are you still going to maintain that and say ban 5th pick?
Well, actually, I would say ban the 0-2 because the Acroma can deal very well with a Jongnam itself. So there are a few more options to deal with the Jongnam than to deal with that 0-2 in this position.
Well, let's find out. Taking the full amount of time right now. There is only one speed lead on each side. Sekhmet going away and the Juno as well there. So we're likely to have 33% speed leads on both of the opponents going into our Summoners War European League Match 8 Set 1 between Scribble Bibble and Slaix. Rank 4 versus Rank 2 as well.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see right now. Also, the Hey Gang is very impactful in the turn 1. But in a turn 2, it normally doesn't do as much as long as you don't have any buffs. But that 0-2 still provides buffs in later rounds too. So let's see how much that can do.
Let's find out. Getting those ships, getting some big stuns there as well.
Ooh, that is a very hefty stun right there. Still, the Jongnam could have done the same thing with an AoE right there. But in this case, you can simply decide not to do it.
Yeah, putting in damage there into the Zeratu as well. Obviously, with that immunity, couldn't get off any of the silences. Are you looking to use that second skill, piling some more damage, maybe in the Vanessa?
Well, you could definitely do some more damage right now. Also, the first damage of that Acroma into the 0-2 is a little bit questionable because the 0-2 takes extra turns, and with that extra turns, you just get all of the healing done. And 0-2 is back to full HP. The Acroma passive did kick in that one time, but not again in the second time.
Exactly. We've got Oliver coming in right now. Are you going to look to reset going into that Berghild? Oh, maybe an opportunity.
That is definitely a dangerous play. You definitely always want to go for the reset of units that could proc out, especially if it's as detrimental as a Cigar. I'm not too sure about not trying to strip and push back the 0-2 over here. You could have had more opening right there and still also control the Oliver, but he'd rather had the Oliver on that reset too.
Yeah, getting a defense break now though, but it's the time for 0-2. Can you get rid of that Vanessa? And then it's only 3 versus 4.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those matchups I've played a few times as well. Acroma into 0-2. Immunity is the hardest counter into an Acroma in general. So it's just very hard to deal with that unit. And I think 0-2 is going to do, in the long run, pretty much solo all of these units.
You've called it here. Let's see if we stand by. But we've got a strip there. Maybe there's a moment.
There is a moment. You definitely have to go for the armor break right now. If he manages to get the armor break, there is a chance. Ooh, this might be the way. But if you hit it right now, you're going to strip the armor break. Very well played by not doing that. We're going to go in for the silence. This silence might be at the very right timing. Does actually get the additional turn, and I do not stand by my words. We have the 0-2 taken out right there.
I do not stand by my words. Here we go. Defense break. Can't quite take out the Oliver yet, but Chroma is going to get ready for another bounce coming soon.
Yeah, absolutely that right timing on the armor break on that 0-2. Also not removing the 0-2 or just having the strip removed and therefore also removing the armor break itself. Very well played by Scribble right there. And that's just once again where you can do a lot of damage, especially against those targets that don't have too much defense, which in most cases is a 0-2.
Exactly, just following up now with more defense breaks. That skill 2 from Chroma, even skill 1, well, skill 2 they're managing to kill. Scribble Bibble back up on top with that 1-0 against Slaix right there. So, I mean, it was all about perfect timing, you said it.
Yeah, it was all about the perfect timing. Getting that armor breaking on the 0-2 at the right moment where it didn't have a chance to remove anything else. It also removed the immunity, not the attack buff on Burkill, which is pretty inconsistent by itself. So definitely, if everything works out, Scribble has a very strong def that can work very well. But also, we've seen it a few times already. Sometimes it doesn't really work out. But in this case, it's a 1-0 victory for Scribble, and it worked out very well.
Exactly. How can the G2 Warlord respond here right now, Slaix? That is the respectable bans on both sides right now. Say, we're not going to see Zeratu, we're not going to see an Achroma.
Yeah, absolutely two very strong units in the last round. But then the big question is, first pick to Slaix. Is he going to go for a speed lead, or is he going to go back to that Jongnam?
He's going in for an Oliver. We've got that speed lead coming in on the side of Slaix. How is Scribble going to respond? We're going back to Ciara Sekhmet combo.
Ciara Sekhmet combo, then we could see another Jongnam on the side. We also have seen a Kovaci. We see both.
Yeah, both of them coming in right there. Again, Scribble relying on this Cigar to come through and the Berghild, those defense breaks.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of resets on the side of Scribble right now. Let's see if Slaix can get with kind of a turn 2 style, which he can work around with. Because right now, if you focus too much on that Kovaci, it might either be banned out or your other units are going to be too slow. And you also only have one speed lead on the side right now.
It's like Bloodya coming back out again. Was there an Asima as well, potential from?
Yeah, there was the Bloodya Asima last time, but this time around, I'm not too sure if it would work that well if you would go for both of them. Juno might be a little bit more all-round and a little bit better, because there is, in the end, there's the reset from the Cigar, there's the reset from the Sekhmet, there's potentially a stun from a Berghild as well. So definitely 3 units could be denied the turn before the Bloodya or a Asima could move.
Exactly. Mi Ying.
I would say Miying has options, but he picks a Chow. And Chow is one of those units, you guys have heard it before, this victory goes to Slaix. No, never mind, but I'm most likely pretty sure that this Chow is not going to win. But that is me.
Let's see if Chow manages to go through and chomp up at your words, say, as we're going to see in this match 8, set number 2. Can Scribble Bibble bring out a 2-0 lead for himself? And he'll be joining Slaix at the top of our leaderboard if he can do that. Or can Slaix look to respond with his use of units? We've got a Sekhmet ban. We've got an Oliver ban as well right there. So one of the cool times taken away. It's going to be speed lead on the side of Scribble Bibble and on the side of Slaix. I mean, what do you
I think Kovaci has an HP lead. I could be wrong in that, but... Or is it something else on the Kovaci? I forgot what kind of lead the Kovaci has.
Ooh, arena attack lead on the side of Bloodya though. That's a hefty 44%. It is Summoners War European League match 8, set 2 between Scribble Bibble and Slaix. Let's see how this works out for them.
Yeah, let's see how much this Berghild and the Cigar can land. Once again, Berghild being very consistent and actually also did need that stun right there. Now for the reset, who do you aim for? Do you go for the Bloodya? Does go for the Jongnam. Does get an additional turn as well.
Can you set up a defense break for a Chow to come and eat up soon? Because you can get a bomb off. Are you going to go Kovaci? Resisted!
Oh, the double resist coming in there. Still an additional turn, so double additional turn over there right now. Big question is, can we get enough pushbacks to where the Chow does not move? That's going to be the big question. You're hitting on the wrong element and did not manage to do enough there.
No, we've got... Look at how many dots are on the side of Scribble Bibble right now. It is like 2-way hell, but it's not... Oh, it's a good amount.
It's definitely a good amount of damage, but the big question is right now, are you going to be able... You definitely wanted that armor break right there. Does actually manage to take it out.
Exactly, with those defense breaks set up by the Berghild, Chow can look to use that second skill to great effect. Looking to take out the Kovaci, going for the Jongnam next, and then it's water versus fire.
Yeah, then there's a lot of water versus fire right there. Also, the Sierra did already take an additional turn, was close to getting the skills back as well. Slows across the board. Can we land those? Does manage to get most of the slows.
Yeah, gets a stun out there for himself right now. Juno, can Juno be Juno against Chow?
Juno could definitely be Juno against Chow, but Sierra still has something to say about it. And if Chow has to perform a 1v4, it never wins. But if Chow performs a 3v1, I think it's in a very good spot right now.
It definitely is. It is probably going to come down to Chow versus Juno. He's still got that second skill available at any point.
Yeah, I definitely do think that Chow in this case does get a victory, but I also want to take my words on it that I think any unit in that fourth position would have probably won.
Cover all angles, say I love it. Chow is likely to carry here. Or is he going to do Chow things?
Oh. No, that was not a Chow carry. That was everything but a Chow carry.
Chow coming in clutch there for Scribble Bibble then. 2-0 against Slaix. He's managed to defeat somebody who already had a win today during the Summoners War European League. That's going to put him in great standings in our leaderboard, which we'll see after the next match, because we've got one more match here today to find out how that's going to go and how it's going to result in our league table. I mean, points have been flying everywhere since those original 1-1 matches, but you can see there, I think it goes to show as well, Scribble really adapted. Like, we had the Achroma. Chow as a 5th pick was a strong pick, just didn't get a respect on it. He's managed to make some changes.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's definitely very well drafted as well, where he did find a lot of struggle during his streams where it's like, oh, this wasn't working, that wasn't working. Sure, his segment didn't perform that well, but his Burgle has been showing very good showcase this time around.
Definitely has. And I'm sure if you tune in later for his stream, he'll be ranting and raving all about it and hopefully show us that crit damage meeting. That's for all of us to see and find out. We've got one more match here coming up today. Say it's going to be Josu versus Unarmed. What a final matchup. I mean, Josu had a 2-0 against him previously against Slaix. Unarmed has been on a bit of a roll as well, going for a 2-0 against Best Spoon and even drawing with Scribble Bibble. It's all for Josu now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see what we can do on those matches right now, because Josu's currently just on 1 point. So he's the man to actually climb back to get to similar standings as the rest of the people. Or is it potentially Unarmed taking a leap over all of the others?
Yeah. Is he going to take a leap just like an elegant cat would take a jump across the whole of the Saharan desert? No idea if that works out, but it sounded pretty good before I said it. Just went for it.
Yeah,
so,
it was not bad.
Yeah, I'll take it. But these guys, it is the last match of today. But remember, folks, we've still got every single Wednesday coming up until the 12th of April. We'll still be here at 8 o'clock. Before you're thinking about tuning out, this one last match is exactly what should appetize your appetites. Well, I also didn't really make sense. It's getting quite late, right? You know?
It's been a long day, but I'd like that one more.
Josu versus Unarmed. Both of them in matching cross arms as well. It's going to be interesting to see if Silver comes out to play, or Neftis as well, right? Who are you favouring?
Well, I definitely say that Josu once again has that playstyle that's very not familiarized with for other people. So sometimes it can work out, but then again, some units are just not really meta because they don't work that well. Josu can make them work in certain situations, but also maybe not that well in others. Let's see how it works out in this matchup that we have right here.
Yeah, let's round it up with the final pun. What do you call a cat who's unarmed in a fight? A forgotten warrior. That was a bit of a banger to end on. Summoners War European League Match 9, Set 1 between Josu and Unarmed. Let's find out how they're going to combat each other. Are we going to get some respect bans on the Silver? What do you think, Say?
I definitely do think we get respect bans on the Silver, because if something is just always the first pick of someone else, you might as well just remove that and say, like, you're going to play a different kind of style right now, and let's see how that works from there. On the other side, Unarmed has been showing a bunch of units, mainly going towards that Chandra. Is that something that he uses that much? I'm not too sure, but it's definitely one of those units you can ban out, but I think Unarmed will probably find his whatever he needs, his speed leads, in that Oliver.
Exactly. Oh, we've gone for a Vanessa this time. Obviously, that revive can come in clutch. Is Josu going to respond then with the Silver? Are we going to see it out on the field already?
Yeah, I definitely do think he would go for Silver, but I think that Unarmed, most of the time when you set up for a Vanessa, you want to go some cleave kind of style, so you go for fast units. But that Lucifer also has been pretty fast. It's not the fastest of base speed units, but it's definitely a unit that he ruined on Swift.
Why, he's come in here to conquer quickly. Josu But Unarmed has also decided to say, you think you're fast? Well, I've got an Escher that's going to be very, very fast.
Asher with that cigar. Even though the cigar nerf, we still see a decent amount of cigar around. But we also have Trix, the fire hacker. Also a unit that can deal a lot of damage if there's a lot of debuffs on the enemy side.
Ooh, and changing it with the Vertihill there as well. We're getting a lot of attack bar manipulation on the bottom side of his draft there with the Lucifer and with that Vertihill as well. If you had a Tian Lang, you'd probably be enjoying it right now, no?
Yeah, you definitely would be going for a Tian Lang right now, but Jongnam is definitely one of those units. There's not too much. If you can get your stunts in at the right moment where there's no immunity up, it can definitely work very well.
Definitely can. Well, he's been working well the whole of Summoners War European League, and if you add into that a little bit of monkey business with that Mei Huan, we know how much damage can come out.
I think the Mei Huan is a pretty interesting pick because I don't really see what he really adds to the draft, whereas you could maybe go for different units that could maybe add in like an immunity or just more stunts itself or more control or denying turns. But this monkey is just straight up damage and going from damage kind of perspective, whereas that Vert already says I'm having a lot of pace in this match, and a unit that also goes for pacing in the match is a Ritsu.
Is Ritsu going to be respected right here at the moment? Because we've got on both sides kind of a different color display, I would say. Who are you liking to ban?
I would say for the bans, if you remove that silver, you can definitely go for that first turn. On the other side, the Cigar is going to be the main impactful unit.
Ooh, silver going out and that Jongnam, meaning we've got a defense lead and a speed lead on both sides here. It is our Summoners War European League Match 9, final one of the day. Set number 1 between Josu versus Unarmed. Escher is going to take that first turn.
Escher's going to take the first turn. We're going to have a setup from that Vanessa and then also the Cigar moving right after. So let's see what he can do with all of those units. Actually decides against that. Goes for a Massacre early.
Going in for the strip. Looking to get another strip off right now. Now Cigar coming in, going into that Lucifer. You've stripped off 3 opponents right now.
Definitely does work, but it is a little bit tricky to do it exactly in that order because you have to land a provoke or a pushback on that Trix to do it. In this case, he did manage to land it. You can do a lot of damage to the Trix right now, but it was definitely kind of a risky play right there, I think.
And now can he look to gain some momentum right now? He's got all of his units nearly taking another turn. We've got that Escher coming in soon, but that threat's going to be annoying.
Yeah, that threat's definitely going to be annoying. You also have to go for speed boosting right here. And this is where the damage from Lucifer comes in. Not too much damage, but with Trix and everything, it's definitely where you can see chip damage working in.
Exactly, get those defense breaks out. Doesn't quite have enough to get Ritsu to take a turn, but can now.
Well, this is also the part where Ritsu is very awkward, because Ritsu's a unit that he already has the passive in is very close on getting a turn. However, if you hit something else right now, you replace that passive. If you were to hit that same unit, you still get the cooldown on that passive. And that makes Ritsu a little bit awkward, and that's why this Cigar is now taking this turn.
Yeah, and look at that. We can maybe look to go through. Trix is going to be following up soon. Only skill 1, and there's still the revive on the side of Vanessa.
Yeah, we also have that provoke right now on the Ritsu, so Ritsu cannot really do his skills, but the big question is, can you take this Ritsu out fast enough? We are taking out this Fire Monkey, but Fire Monkey will definitely take another turn.
Yeah, he will be taking another turn, so wasn't so much damage coming out from the Lucifer. You can get a bit of sustain coming in now as well.
Big question is, where do you go for the sustain? Do you start killing that Lucifer already, or do you have to double down the damage on that Ritsu to take it out?
Oh, doubles down, gets them back, and gets a stun.
Definitely a great stun right there. The cooldown is pretty long on the 3rd skill right now. Can you take out this Monkey in the few turns that are left? Not getting the branding and therefore doing a lot less damage. Monkey another skill 2. Fire Monkey 1 just doing so much damage, but a lot of damage. Virus.
A lot coming through right now, but there's still that I think the revive wasn't quite there yet, no? Not yet.
No, revive is 1 turn away, and once again, the Trix is doing a lot of work.
He is doing a lot of work, and if he can kill out another unit, now the revive is back. But hopefully Vertihill for Josu can look to cycle quickly.
Yeah, that Vertihill is actually doing a lot of work in this match right now. We will get a revive on that Cigar, but there's, once again, no armor break on that Trix right now, so it will be a lot harder to take out. Also, this Vanessa hasn't been doing that much damage. If the Vanessa was higher on damage, maybe it would have died to just the Virus skill, but it maybe could have taken out the unit in its own respect.
Exactly, and right now, there we go, conceded by Unarmed. Josu coming up. Look, he definitely cooked during that one. What was with all of the Trix coming out, Silver getting banned out, but interesting.
Yeah, definitely an interesting draft, and also an interesting way to use Ritsu. It definitely kind of worked in its way, but he also had that one awkward moment where it's less like, okay, I kind of have to re-hit the cigar right now or hit something else, but then the cigar actually had a chance to almost take over the match because Ritsu's passive just works a little bit strange in its own way. But then again, as mentioned before, the Fire Monkey, it did okay. It did do a lot of damage, but it wasn't maybe not really the right unit at the moment in that draft. That could have maybe something had that could lock down a Vertiheal or something.
Exactly. We've seen the pre-bans come out. We've got the Escher and we've got the Vanessa. Kavachi instantly taken there by Josu. And Unarmed going back to the Chandra.
Back to the Chandra. Do we also see something along the lines of a Escher once again? Oh, no, wait. The Escher is currently being banned out, so that's definitely one of the fast units. Does he also like to play on a style of maybe a Sekhmet? Because that would definitely pair very well into a Kavachi.
Let's find out right now. He's taking his time, actually, on this one. Cigar coming back in again. The meta has not dropped away.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see him go for Cigar. And also the Vanessa ban, whereas you could have maybe banned something along the lines of the LDs of Josu rather than a Vanessa. So let's see. Actually, we have a reverse right now. We have the Vertiheal going to the side of Unarmed. There are a lot of AoEs on the side of Josu, however.
There are, but there's also a lot of damage if that Ongyuki can go through. Again, attack bar manipulation seems to be kind of the play on the side of Unarmed right there, and pairing it with the Nephthys, being able to do a lot of damage. Well, not damage, but set up for damage, essentially.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see a Nephthys being picked without AoE strippers. Most of the time, you want to have AoE strippers first and then lock in the Nephthys, or have the Nephthys very early and then go for it. There's already immunity on the side of the Kavachi, but I think the immunity is going to be taken out. Kavachi ban and Sonya ban.
Yeah, let's see if it is respectable in those bans, because Sonya has been able to delete units out of the Summoners War European League so far in these matchups, and it's up to Josu to decide if he wants to take those 2 points away from Unarmed. It's going to be all to play for in terms of the league, actually. Rankings right now, look at Unarmed up in 3rd, Josu in 5th at the moment, but with that extra point, Lucifer being banned out there as well as the Sonya.
Well, there was one interesting take. There are a few units on the field of Josu that had a defense leader skill. If he went for the defense leader skill and still kept in that Sonya, he might have survived that ignore defense. So, but that is something we're never going to know. Let's see how this fights out without the Sonya on the field.
Exactly. Chandra going first right now then. He can look to try and boost up the rest of the team to not allow that Kavachi to take a turn soon. Or are you going to go for a skill 1? Strip stun maybe? No.
I definitely do think that you had to go for a skill 3 right here, because this is the point where you're going to get denied on all your turns. So maybe he was thinking a little bit too long. Oliver still has something to say about it, but the turn order is slightly messed up by the slow on that Cigar.
Definitely is Cigar right now. Are you looking to go into that Ongyuki, not to allow any skill 2 coming out? Gets it as well.
Gets it as well, but there's still an armor break on a lot of units, and there is that Jongnam gonna take a turn very soon. Sure, the skill 3 doesn't really scale on that attack buff, but it does scale from armor breaks on the enemy.
Exactly, and now it's the moment. Chandra can't actually use the skill 2 effectively right now, so only looking to use the skill 3.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see that the immunity is very hard to deal with. And this is kind of where you don't want to be playing a Nephthys. Nephthys in this position is just trying to fight a lot of immunity. And if she's fighting immunity, all her turns don't matter.
Exactly, and now Kavachi can look to boost up again, maybe even onto herself to get it going. That speed buff is going to be crucial to take another turn soon.
Yeah, it's definitely crucial, but this is going to be the question. Can you actually maybe take out that Ongyuki with an additional turn right now? You don't want to stun it, and you did just stun it.
Yeah, was it worth the risk in the end? We're going to get a little bit of healing coming out through as well, and he is going to be taking a turn.
He's going to be taking a turn, and it's going to be a lot of damage. I'm not sure, do you still have the skill 2? Oh, wait, first to provoke, but an additional turn, and those additional turns from a Ongyuki are so crucial. You get the defense break in, and then there's just a lot of damage, plus a lot of healing.
Exactly, the skill 2 can come in right now, but realistically you wanted a Chandra skill 3 coming out as well.
Oh, there's still some Vert on the field, but the Vert not doing enough damage, and we have another round of Puppeteer Ball.
Exactly, that attack bar manipulation should allow maybe Ongyuki to take another turn. I think he's just off of it at the moment, but Jongnam can come in, get a freeze.
Oh, that was definitely a dangerous play right there by trying to get the stun on the Vert. It definitely did work in the end, but if there was a counter there, it maybe had a little bit more comeback mechanics. But the moment Silver goes for another round of his Virus skill, I think 2 units are going to be leaving the battlefield, and this is exactly what's going to happen right now.
This is the moment. Does manage to get rid of the Vertihill, and that Nephthys is very close to falling.
Yeah, the Nephthys is on 1 HP, where normally a dot can actually kill a unit. The passive of Tricks cannot kill a unit. You can try to defend it, but that is called heal block. It doesn't work.
Exactly.
Or no,
And
buff block.
crucial. Actually, crazy play from Trix against the Chandra. Good counter.
Yeah, absolutely. The Trix is doing a lot of work. Also with the despair stance that it's rocking in there. But in general, it's just a very good unit for the comp of Josu with normally that silver in there. And that actually gives Josu the 2-0.
2-0 for Josu against Unarmed. The cats have risen for Josu right there, managing to get those extra points on the leaderboard, which, like we said, are crucial at any point in this Summoners War European League. The more points you have, the higher you're standing. You need to get into that top 8, but realistically, you want to be in that top 2. The closer you can get to the final of those playoffs, the better it is for you to give yourself the chance to win those competitions. I would say that Josu kind of came in with different styles there. I mean, Trix was probably the unit star for him in those matches.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think now looking at the leaderboards, I think a lot of people are on 3 points actually. Because I think a lot of people had 1 draw, 1 win, and 1 lose.
Yeah.
So we're still going to be, are we going to be all on 3 points and all winners once again?
Oh, no, we can't all be, because we know that obviously Best Spoon only had that 1 draw win that happened at the start. But again, it's so early in this competition. Anything can happen. There's another 7 weeks of this that's going to be happening every single Wednesday at 8 o'clock. And if you're not here, where are you? Like, what are you doing with yourself? Because you get to see matches like this when you come here at 8 o'clock. All of these matches from today, Best Spoon, Scribble, Josu, Slaix, Unarmed, and Roid, they are our first 6 players of the Summoners War European League. Next week on Wednesday, it'll be the other 6 players that will be competing, and then it will be mixed up during the week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, all the way up until that last week where it's going to be everybody playing on the same day to find out who can be at the top of this very leaderboard now. Roid and Scribble. Wow.
Not bad, not bad. Both Dutchies very high on the leaderboards right now, both taking a double draw and a victory. No one else is actually taking 2 victories right now. There's a lot of draws going on.
Yeah, there is draws all over the board, but it can happen in a best of 2. It is the format only. Roid is used to this, having played in it from last year. The others are not used to it. But you can see at the bottom from 7th to 12th, they've got nothing yet. But they're going to be here next week to see if they can jump up above any of the players on the top half of this leaderboard. There's still to come Charge, Chris P. Bacon, great name by the way, Jocelino, Malignant, Merle, and Tech. They're going to be joining up with the current players from this week to see who can be on top. Did you expect to see a table like that, say?
I actually did expect more people to get 2-0 victories. Like, for the amount of 2-0 victories, there's not been that many. And even if they did make a 2-0 victory, they still had their draws in as well. So I would say that I expected like 1 player to be like maybe on 5 points, maybe on 6. But it's kind of balanced all out. 2 on 4, a whole bunch on 3, and then 1 on 1. So I would definitely say that there's pretty equal level right here, right now.
Exactly. The stats don't lie. That's where you are. You've got your point. You've managed to get some of those set wins through, and they're going to keep on tallying up all the way through into the end of this Summoners War European League. Now, obviously, we're still here because we're still going to be giving you guys something. And I've just seen the countdown in the bottom corner, and there's about 5 seconds-ish left. But make sure you're ready for the next coupon code where you are going to be getting 100k mana. 2 mystical scrolls this time. Don't tell them we didn't do anything, okay?
Yeah, yep. No, that's also one of those, like, I did just see it in chats, like, yeah, 8 times 1, I'm just gonna get 8 mystical souls. No, you're already at 3, so you're 3 weeks in. Now you have all of the other 8 weeks to watch as well. Hey, you're gonna get something.
Exactly. Swell Day 1. Swell is our short term of saying Summoners War European League. If you're in the chat as well, command SWEL, and you will get up to the website to find out a bit more about the players, a little bit more about the leaderboards, a little bit more about the matches that are going to be upcoming, obviously next week on Wednesday. I think I can already know. There'll be maybe a special guest on there with you, say, because I sadly
yeah, that's definitely going to be an interesting one, and that's definitely one that I think on my channel we haven't seen yet, but a lot of people have been asking to see on my channel. Plus, something that I think a lot of people are going to be enjoying as well. So next week, 8 p.m., same time, same place. Hope to see you there.
Exactly. I'll send you the puns over as well, just so you can, like, prepare yourself. I'm not sure how you'll deal with it and perform it, but
I'll give them to Shambi. You're way better at it, so I'll let Shambi do those.
Nice. We will see you guys next week, Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Be here. Keep summoning, and we'll see you very soon.